Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to all our worldwide audience. I, Professor Nader Ratkoç, the co-founder of IIU Europe, president of IIU Research Center, country director Croatia, board member of IIU, heartily welcome and giving a big warm welcome to all of you from the International Internship University on this auspicious occasion on the G20 Summit 2023, jointly organized by our presidency and with the topic today, energy research sources for sustainability, employability, efficient and sustainable use of natural resources with 3RSRE and with the dialogue. Today, we want to we want to say that here we are on the platform of IIU International Internship University, and our founder Piyush Pandit, the visionary educationist, always had a dream to provide education to every learner across the world. He believes that the world is changing drastically, so there is a need to make changes in the education system. With this thought, Piyush Pandit concocted the world's first digital internship university, International Internship University in 2020. IIU is providing quality, skill-based, affordable, accessible, location-independent, and skill-based digital education to all learners across the globe, along with internship opportunities and research facilities through its 1,000+ virtual courses to all learners across the globe through the platform of MIOC, the massive open online courses. IIU has been accredited and affiliated with World Education Organization, International Accreditation Organization, United Nations, and in collaboration with world's top universities and educational institutions. In a short span of time, IIU has spread wings in 195 countries, 6 continents, with a team of 1,000+ experienced and qualified global educators across the world. IIU is registered in India, Australia, Nepal, USA government. The digital education by International Internship University is for all, without any hurdles as per own wish the learners and without any financial stress, which is easily accessible in every corner of the world. The G20 Summit 2023 is jointly organized with the G20 International and the IIU. And today, I already said the topic is the energy resources and sources for sustainable employability. So, the group of G20 is a paramount platform. With us is group of 20 G20, and it is a paramount platform for fostering international economic cooperation, pivotal in shaping and fortifying the global framework, the governance concerning crucial economic matters worldwide. India, proudly assuming the presidency of G20 from December 1st, 2022 to November 30, 2023, embraces the opportunity to spearhead the changes. Guided by the resolute leadership of Dr. Srividya Sukumar from United Arabian Emirates and with unwavering support from the esteemed IAU core committee and team, we are prepared to unveil a transformative initiative. IAU is poised to launch an empowering endeavor to revolutionize the world of women and social entrepreneurs. Additionally, we are setting to convene an esteemed worldwide think tank to foster comprehensive discussions to achieve equality for all, an equal world education and opportunities for all individuals. With the upcoming G20 summit being organized virtually, we have the unprecedented opportunity to transcend geographical boundaries and bring together brilliant minds from all corners of the globe. We can pave the way for future where everyone can thrive through collaboration, innovation, and collective determination. Let us join hands, united in our pursuit of a world where every individual, irrespective of their gender and circumstances, can unleash their full potential and contribute to the progress and prosperity of our global community. Together, we can make a lasting impact and create a legacy of equality for the generations. So, enhancing career exploration and decision making, developing essential skills, building a global perspective, networking opportunities, gaining confidence with self awareness, applying classroom knowledge, gaining a competitive edge. This is why we are here today. And not only today, many, many Sundays and more Sundays are still waiting us. So now, it's my pleasure to invite uh, is Virginia Riviera, our core team member from International Internship University. Welcome, Dr. Virginia. Please unmute yourself. Unmute yourself, please.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. All of you around the globe, we are so excited to have you here with us today in this another one of these incredible congresses here in G20. I have to say, and I want to congratulate everybody in India. We just finished a marvelous event as BICA, and we had 28 foreign delegates that accompanied us for 6 days. I have to say that it was an incredible event, but most importantly, it really lived up to what our IIU philosophy and mission is. Today, I would like to introduce to you who our team members are. I would like to start with Dr. Ermina Rasco from Romania. She is not only a moderator and a fellow, she is also our foreign affairs person for James International School. We also have Dr. Snigdha Kadam. She is not also the project coordinator, but she is the principal for our world established James International School. Additional to that, you have already met our Nada, Professor Nada. We know that she's not only the co-founder for IIU Europe, but she is one of the most established and esteemed professors in Europe. We also have with us today Inga, our professor, Dr. Inga, and Inga is from Georgia. Inga brought an incredible team to India this past 2 weeks. And I have to say, teachers that know no bounds are so thirsty to continue learning more to transmit to their students. And we also come today with Sandy Balahi, and Sandy is here with us today, Dr. Sandy, and Sandy will be telling us who each one of our speakers and our pointers are. So I have to say that we are extremely excited to be here today. And now I would like to introduce to you who our community partners are. So to start, we have the GSFN, and it has been established to provide a common platform that helps its members, financial institutions benefit from opportunities emerging through transformation to sustainable economy. It supports its members in developing capacities to integrate sustainability across the board. It fosters initiatives that help build public-private partnerships, promoting sustainable lending and investment. It also offers networking opportunities to member financial institutions, multilateral organizations, government bodies, business and industry, and other stakeholders for sharing experiences and ideas. It provides a forum to support the development and execution of sustainable finance policies and practices. And it presents a marketplace for members to promote their sustainable finance expertise, business ideas, products and services, and to search for partners to develop and execute programs, projects, and activities. And most importantly, they perform any other task that promotes sustainable finance. We also want to welcome our other community partner, IGENS. The 74 million young Americans born between 1995 and 2012 comprise the most important generation in the nation's history. So we're talking here about America, both in size and composition. 1 out of 4 Americans from age 5 to 22 have been collectively dubbed the iGen generation, a shortened descriptor for internet generation. The iGen handle won out over numerous other suggested names, namely Generation Z, which was doomed to Generation Y preceding it. That generation of those born between 1981 and 1995 became better known as the millennials. Other Generation Z replacements included the Homeland generation, centennials, post-millennials, the founders, iGeneration, and a lot of others, all of which fell to the wayside under public opinion. Then this generation, making its own moniker, is far from unusual, given the names of population groups from the past. So several periods ranging between 12 and 25 years were known as the lost generation, the interbellum generation, the greatest generation, the silent generation, and its subset, war babies, baby boomers, Generation X, and the most recent group, millennials. So not only has it become the largest social cohort outnumbering millennials and baby boomers, the iGen generation or iGeners is also the most ethnically diverse generation compared to its predecessor. So thank you to all our esteemed team members and our community partners. Thank you very much. Dr. Stivia.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Nada, and thank you, Dr. Virginia, for a wonderful introduction about IIU and G20, and also about IIU's team and what are our projects, what are our rationale and objectives, and also about our community partners. Moving ahead, it's my duty to introduce the topic for today. That's 3 R's dialogue. That's what we are about. As Dr. Nada was mentioning, it's energy, resources, and sources for sustainability and employability. That's what we are here to talk about with the presidency as efficient and sustainable use of natural resources with the 3 R's dialogue. Moving to which we have given our pointers for discussion as 3 R's with the 3RE dialogue with Alliance of Resource Efficiency, ensure access to affordable treatment services, which will be spoken by 3R dialogue will be spoken by Ms. Divya Somani, and ensure access to affordable treatment services by Dr. Muralidhar and Kisan Bhatnagar. Work towards higher value material loop and waste prevention, Mr. Ruben Garcia, and start implementing a material cycle by Dr. VJE Carolyn, and align COVID-19 recovery measures with resource efficiency objectives by Professor Dr. Elena Boswick, ensure that hazardous substances and waste are managed in an environmentally sound manner, Ms. Eliko, international cooperation coordination to advance towards more resource efficient and circular economy, Dr. Merrill, trends in material consumption and waste generation, old versus new by Dr. Ishat Mira Mizana, strengthen policy development and evaluation through better data and analytics, Dr. Myla, and last but not the least, the aligned sectoral policies and resource efficiency objectives with Mr. Manoj Kumar Menon from ECOWA. On that note, once again, I would extend a warm welcome to all our speakers for today who are going to share their inputs. On that note, it's my duty to, on behalf of IIU, on behalf of G20 International, to extend a warm welcome to His Excellency Dr. Mohammed Saeed Al-Kindi, who has joined us as the chief guest for today. Thank you for having you here, sir. It's our privilege to have you here, and it's a greatest honor for us. He is the former Minister of Environmental and Water in UAE. He was the former representative of the prominent ministers of the UAE in the United Nations in New York. His Excellency Dr. Mohammed Saeed Al-Kindi is a senior vice president at Invesco, and he has had a distinguished career in the United Arab Emirates government, culminating in appointment as a Minister of Environment and Water. Dr. Al-Kindi began his career as a diplomat in 1984 as a second secretary at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in Abu Dhabi. He was then transferred to the permanent mission of the UAE to the United Nations in New York, serving from 1986 to 1995. As a member of UAE mission, he represented the country at the UN Security Council from 1986 to 1987 and the UN General Assembly during his post. Dr. Al-Kindi served as a rapporteur of the 4th Committee of the 45th Session of the UN General Assembly in 1988, and he is a vice chairman of the 4th Committee of the 46th Session of the UN General Assembly in 1989. Subsequently, Dr. Al-Kindi has appointed as the charge of affairs of the UAE Embassy in Jakarta, Indonesia from 1995 to 1997. He was also appointed as the director of the ruler's office of the government of Fujairah from 1997 to 2006. He has also served in the cabinet of the UAE federal government of the Minister of the Environment and Water from 2006 to 2008. He has attended meetings and conferences of non-alignment countries and the economic group of G7 too. Dr. Alkindi actively participates in all various domestic and international businesses, holding his positions including chairman, director, board member, and proprietor. He represents UAE at various regional and international conferences and is a member of several national and international institutions. He has a doctorate in public administration and master's in the Bachelor of Arts of Political Sciences from California University, United States. It's a great privilege having you amongst us today, sir. On that note, we would extend a warm welcome to you, and it's really a privilege. Please help me to present before you Dr. Alkindi amongst us today. Thank you. Thank you, audience. Thank you, sir. Over to you. You're muted. Sorry.
Hello, good afternoon or good evening.
Good afternoon, sir. Thank you.
Let me start with my speech for this lovely meetings with you, with everybody. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it's my great pleasure to join this G20 International Conference for efficient and sustainable use of natural resources with 3RSRE dialogue through online organized by G20 International. In this occasion, I have the honor to extend my greeting to all the participants who are joining this virtual conference from different parts of the world. And I would like to extend my sincere gratitude for inviting me to this important meeting. The efficient and sustainable use of natural resources is the biggest challenges facing the world today. Sustainability is another major issue we are facing. I am really happy to understand that this conference has taken these two important topics to be discussed through this international online conference. Natural resources are central to human well-being. The sustainable use of natural resources has long been considered an element of both human right and economic development. Efficient and sustainable use of natural resources is important in the life because it helps ensure the future generation will access to those resources. If we don't take care of our natural resources, they will eventually become depleted. The world should realize the importance of efficient and sustainable use of natural resources and a fundamental principle of growth. And we should also committed to sustainability, its responsibility to protect the future. The value of environmental sustainability exists because of our collective effort of the people. Sustainable use of natural resources meant to use creatively sources and resources for the development of society. The sources refers to a place or origin from where something is obtained. In recent years, the United Arab Emirates has deployed extensive effort towards driving sustainability toward and forward in the country under the framework of the UAE vision. The UAE leader made a critical and ambitious stride in the transition to a green economy through approving the UAE Green Growth Strategy. Under this strategy, the UAE is taking steps to promote the green economy concept at the global level. The United Arab Emirates has always highlighted the need for green environment. Over the past years, the UAE has become an international center for countries wishing to discuss the importance of sources and resources efficiency. Green environment, renewable and clean energy, solar power, climate changes, and sustainability. The United Arab Emirates governments aspire to build a world-class sustainable system to improve the quality of life. The UAE in this year, COP28 President designated calls for a climate action plan that put the world on the right track to achieve the Paris Agreement goal. The UAE will work to encourage that the world responds to the GST with a clear plan of action. Let me say, the United Arab Emirates also is a global hub for logistics, transportation, green technology, business, commerce, and tourism, and uniquely positioned to build bridges and foster continuous to accelerate inclusive climate progress. I should appreciate once again G20 International has taken the initiative of organizing such online meeting to discuss strategies for the efficient and sustainable use of natural resources by effectively adapting sources and resources. Thank you very much all the distinguished speaker, guests, participant, organizer for different areas are wishing all of you success and good luck in all your future life. I do sincerely hope that this meeting will be a real motivation for your all progressive activities. I conclude by thanking the Almighty, the source of all goodness. Thank you once again very much and wish this conference to be a successful and reach its fruits. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Your words were very kind, and we are really indebted in having you here amidst us today. And with your very motivational speech, I think we will be able to take the conference further. Thank you so much. Thanks for your precious time. Thanks for your presence amidst us, and thanks for all the support that you extend to us from the UAE. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
It has been a great privilege and honor having you here amidst us today. Thank you. On that note, moving ahead with the session that we are going to brief about exactly what is this RE dialogue a little bit, and then we'll just call up the first speaker. So G20 may host the RE dialogue meeting to share the knowledge and actions and good practices of resource efficiency improvement by the G20 members in light of the progress made in each country. And during the G20 RE dialogue, the G20 or the G20 members in collaboration with their agreement can organize workshops and sessions by setting up specific themes. On that note, we are gathered here on this platform today to discuss on various issues that was read before and to strengthen and mainstream resource efficiency policies, to improve measurement of resource efficiency, to encourage innovation and create opportunities, to encourage multi-stakeholder engagement, as Dr. Alkindi was mentioning, cooperate and collaborate with their international initiatives, to work with G20 implementation framework for actions on the plastic litter and to reduce carbon footprint. On that note, we would like to extend a warm welcome to all our speakers who are gathered with us today. Moving ahead, I would hand over the platform to Ms. Sandhya Balaji to welcome the first speaker. Over to you, Ms. Sandhya. Thank you so much.
A very good evening to all and greetings of the day to the members in the other parts of the world. So today we are here to discuss a topic that's of paramount importance as suggested by our chief guest and by Dr. Srividya. The 3 R's, reduce, reuse, and recycle, are the guiding pillars to a sustainable world. By reducing, we ensure responsible consumption, and by reuse, we use creativity, and by recycling, we act responsibly towards our environment. To speak more about this and how it leads to a sustainable world, we have with us our first speaker, Ms. Divya Somani, who is an insolvency professional, a chartered accountant, and a company secretary. She is also a information systems auditor, and to her credit, she also has an IFRS from the ACCA of the UK. She's also a certified concurrent auditor and peer reviewer. May I welcome you once again, Ms. Divya Somani. Please share your inputs on the 3 R's.
Thank you for such a warm welcome, ma'am. And I would like to express my gratitude and thanks to all the organizers for organizing such a wonderful event, which obviously enhances our knowledge and spreads awareness amongst everyone, because you will be recording this and showcasing to other people as well. So this is altogether, very innovative idea to spread knowledge. And through these sessions, it provides a lot of knowledge to people and a better opportunity to express their feelings and what is there in their mind, basically. So without doing further delay, I'll just start sharing my screen. Is it visible?
Yes.
All right. I'm just starting the slideshow. Okay. So this is the first topic for the day. And the topic, as very well told to you all, is 3 R's, the RE dialogue. My concern would be to tell you more about what is the meaning of all the 3 and how, what is the current position as of now, how the countries within themselves are, using these techniques, these 3 methods, and what is the scope of alliance on these resource efficiency and better management of the resources. So that is what my topic would be. So moving further, let us first understand what is renewable energy. I hope you all know this, but because the topic begins with that, so I would like to firstly mention what is the renewable energy. RE refers to energy derived from natural resources that are replenished continuously or over a relatively short period of time. Unlike fossil fuels, which are finite and contribute to climate change, RE sources are considered more sustainable and environment friendly. And that is why nowadays more and more use of these renewable energy is recommended everywhere, because the fossil fuels are very limited in source, and as compared to them, renewable energy is a source which is considered as inexhaustible in nature, and that is also at a very minimum or no cost at all. So that is the thing why we are, every time focusing or emphasizing on the use of this renewable energy. So what are the various types of renewable energy sources available to us? First is the hydropower. The word hydro denotes the power of water, basically. So the gravitational potential energy of water is here converted into electrical energy through a hydraulic turbine. So as you see the dams and all, they convert this they use this mechanism and they convert it into hydroelectricity. Then we have wind energy. So wherever in the countries where we have a great source of wind energy is available, so there we can have these wind turbines, which can convert into electricity. Then we have solar energy. So these solar panels or the heaters nowadays are used mostly in all the parts of the countries, and because solar energy is available at a no cost at all, so they can be converted into ready source of energy for everyone. So in hospitals, in hotels, in industries also nowadays, these solar panels are normally seen. Then we have biomass, where the energy is obtained from plant and animal remains. Then we have geothermal energy, wherein the heat energy is trapped underneath the Earth's crust and it is later converted into electricity by steam turbines. Next we have is ocean energy. So ocean thermal and tidal energy is converted into electricity by turbines and others. Then we have hydrogen. Hydrogen potential chemical energy converted into electricity by using hydrogen fuel cells. Normally, we understand that hydrogen or the nuclear power is converted into energy, and but that creates carbon footprints. But it is not like that. This hydrogen source of energy is 100% zero carbon energy. So it does not, produces any kind of carbon. So this is also a very good source of energy, but it has to be used very carefully. Then let us understand the difference between renewable and non-renewable sources of energy. As you can very well see in this diagram itself, if you use the renewable sources of energy, the earth would remain green and it would be pollution free and everything like that. And if you use the non-renewable sources of energy, which will be depleting over the period of time, and it also destroys the climatic, it is also responsible for the climatic change, and it reduces the efficiency and efficacy of the environment as well. So what are the differences basically? These non-renewable resources can be used only once, while the renewable energy can be used again and again. They are perpetual sources of energy, in other words. Then, as we know that renewable sources are very much eco-friendly, as they do not emit any gases or do not pollute the environment. And also they are available in unlimited quantity. The production cost of these renewable energy is very, very low, I must say, because it is only one-time setup, and later on it is totally free of cost to you. Then the maintenance cost is again low in case of non-renewable energies. However, it is high in case of renewable energies because it is a huge setup, basically. Production quantity. Here, the production quantity of energy is in large amount in case of non-renewable energy, while in renewable energy, it is somewhat less. But if the area under a particular thing is wide enough, then the resources could be, this quantity could be produced in more amount. Actually, here most of the energy is being wasted because we cannot capture each and everything. We cannot capture the solar energy to its fullest amount available. So that is why more of wastage is there. Sometimes we can say like that. So let us understand which industries use this renewable energy. Normally, you can see that every kind of industry can use this RE. So firstly, let us understand how manufacturing industry uses this. So in their industry, in their setup, in their factories, they can use these solar panels or wind turbines to power their production processes and reduce reliance over conventional grid electricity. It actually improves their cost efficiency and their power supply normally. In IT industry, to minimize their carbon footprint, tech giants are investing in renewable energy to power their data centers and operations. Companies like Google, Apple, and Microsoft have made significant commitments to using renewable energy for their data centers. Next is the food and beverage industry. They need significant amounts of energy for processing, refrigeration, and packaging, as we all know. Some are adopting RE sources, such as solar energy for their facilities and bioenergy from organic waste for power generation. Next is in retail sector also, they are using these solar panels on rooftops and carports. Next, in hospitality industry, as we all know that solar water heaters are there, solar PV system is there, geothermal heating and cooling systems are being used. In transportation, we normally see nowadays the e-vehicles. So nowadays, the fossil fuels are, they are used in lesser quantities. Though this electronic vehicle term, which is in use nowadays, it is quite expensive, and people are not moving to that at a very smooth level. But over the period of time, the government would reduce the cost of production also, and these transportation, which is based on this electric model, that will be available also at a lesser cost to all. Then in textile industry, again, because it is the manufacturing process, they used again the solar panels and everything for their manufacturing. Then in chemical industry, power energy's intensive processes and reduce greenhouse gas emissions associated with chemical production. In pharmaceuticals and mining industries also, the solar and wind energy is being used. So why there is a need for transition? Transition as in, I would say, from the conventional mode of energy to the renewable energy sources. Why should we move to that? The answer is very, very simple, that there are many environmental benefits attached to it. It reduces the carbon footprint as well. Then there is a sustainability and resource conservation. By harnessing renewables, industry can contribute to resource conservation and ensure a long-term sustainable and energy supply to the world. Energy cost stability. Fossil fuel prices are often subject to fluctuations due to geopolitical and market forces. As we have seen that during recent years and recent time itself, in 2023 itself, the cost of these fuels, I mean petrol and other things, they vary at a very fast pace. I mean, the price is very volatile. So any country which is dependent on these kind of resources from other countries, it is very difficult to continue their production, and the cost of production also increases with the increase in the cost of the fuels and everything which they are importing. So why not to use the renewable sources available? So that is why it is said that it also saves the cost also. Then energy independence and security. Using RE reduces industry's reliance on imported fossil fuels and volatile energy markets. Then there are various regulatory compliance and reputations also. So if you are using RE, then your reputation among the public would be at a higher level, because you are not creating any carbon, or you are eco-friendly, and your products are also very good. So it indirectly enhances your reputation. And sometimes in some countries, it is mandatory that you can you need to have this much, you can emit this much carbon only. So a limit is there for carbon emissions. So if you're crossing that limit, again, you are calling some penalties from the regulatory authorities. So that is why it is said that better to go for renewable energy. Then it also has a competitive advantage. As we just now said, that it reduces the cost and it reduces our dependence on other countries for other things. Then that is why it creates a kind of competitive advantage, and it favors the business with sustainable practices. Why there is a need for transition? Again, there are few more points. It creates a job also, and it provides a long-term viability. Then innovation and technological advancements are also seen in this particular sphere. If more and more people are using these energy sources, then again, there is a need of innovation and technological advancement, and that becomes a complete industry altogether. Then resilience to climatic change. Using renewable energy helps building resilience by reducing emissions and contributing to global efforts to combat climate change. And that is why you can be a contributor if you, try to use this renewable energy sources. Next, let us understand from this chart the change which is nowadays seen in the use of fuel energy by various countries. It is a global chart. So from 2008 till 2022, we can see that if we see this red part denotes the oil, the change in oil. So if we see in 2022, the change was this much, I mean, but it has reduced. I mean, the use of oil has reduced. In fact, the use of renewable energy has been increasing. You can see the green part. It is in a increasing mode. Since 2008, we are seeing it is an increasing trend. And the other things are reducing. This black part denotes the coal. So if you are using coal as a fuel, this is being reduced over the period of time. And during 2022, there is just this much change, very little change has happened during the period of 2022. So let us understand the 3 R's involved in this renewable energy. The first is reduce, the second is reuse, and the third one is recycle. So what should be reduced, what you can reuse, and what is something which you can recycle. So if you see it in a comprehensive manner, it simply says that you have to use the resources which are available naturally to you so that you can use them again and again, and you can recycle them also over the period of time, and they are causing less harm to the climate overall. So let us understand the reduce part. It emphasizes the importance of reducing the energy consumption and wastage. By implementing energy efficient practices and technologies, individuals, businesses, and industry can lower their energy needs, resulting in less reliance on non-renewable energy sources. Examples are using LED lighting, optimizing building insulations, and employing energy efficient appliances and equipment. Now let us understand what are the companies or what are the various companies basically which are using this reduce theory. As we just read in the earlier slides, that Google is one of those companies which are using this technology. What they are doing is in their domain, wherein they have to store a lot of data, they are using these energy efficient technologies which optimizes cooling systems and use machine learning algorithms to manage energy consumption more efficiently. IKEA, it is a global furniture retailer which is committed to sustainability and energy reduction. The company has implemented energy efficient lighting, solar PV systems on its stores and distribution centers, and investments in wind farms to generate renewable energy. Apple again is using the renewable energy, as we know, and same with the Coca-Cola also. Coca-Cola has undertaken energy saving initiatives in its manufacturing facilities and distribution centers worldwide. The company has invested in energy efficient equipments, improved energy management practices, and implemented sustainable packaging initiatives. So in each and every sphere, we can see whether it is a manufacturing concern or a service enterprise, it can use these kind of renewable energies to save the environment. Now let us understand the meaning of reuse. The principle encourages the use of renewable energy technologies that harness naturally occurring resources such as sunlight, wind, water, and geothermal heat. These sources of energy are replenished naturally and can be harnessed repeatedly without depleting their availability. Examples include solar panels for solar energy, wind turbines for wind energy, and hydroelectric power plant for water energy. So we can keep on reusing. Once established, we can keep on reusing these energies, and this is based on the same principle. Examples of reuse. So reusing heat from industrial process. In industrial settings, waste heat processes can be captured and repurposed to generate electricity or provide heating for nearby facilities. So within the industry itself, whatever heat is generated, you can capture it and you can reuse the same heat for some other process. So this way you can reuse the same thing. Recycled materials in renewable energy equipment. Using recycled material in manufacturing of renewable energy equipment such as solar panels and wind turbines reduce the demand for new raw materials and promotes a circular economic approach. Then again, reclaimed material in construction. Sustainable construction practices involve using reclaimed or recycled materials for building renewable energy infrastructure. For example, using recycled steel in wind turbine towers, etc. So reuse and recycling go parallel sometimes, and that is why we have this kind of examples that you can recycle and use the same things. What is recycle, by the way? In the context of renewable energy, this principle encourages the recycling and proper disposal of materials used in renewable energy technologies. For instance, recycling components of old solar panels and wind turbines can reduce the environmental impact associated with the manufacturing and disposal process. Now, just a simple thing, as we know that if you are using your plastic bags or anything which is made up of plastic, this cannot be recycled, and that is a non-biodegradable waste, as we all know. So if something cannot be recycled, it cannot be reused further. So that is why it is causing a lot of trouble to our environment. So we should use the things which can be recycled again and again and can be further used in different forms. Proper recycling practices ensure that valuable resources are not wasted and that environmental footprint of renewable energy technologies is minimized. Now, what are the examples of recycle? See, normally recycling here would mean that if you're using, suppose, solar panels, then once it has worked upon its lifespan, as it is mentioned here, that it works for around 25 to 30 years. Once you set up a solar panel, it works for so much long time. So if after that time period you want to remove that, it can again be recycled, and it's simple. It can be converted into simple components and then can again be combined and reframed into something else. So that way, this will not go waste and it will be recycled and it will not cause any harm to the environment. Similarly, in the case of wind turbine blade recycling, so whatever blades are used in that in making that wind turbines, that can again be recycled and can be framed into something else over the period of time. Why we are dealing with this renewable energy, as we know that one of the SDG, the Sustainable Development Goal, is also to provide affordable and clean energy. That is goal number 7. It ensures access to affordable, reliable, sustainable, and modern energy for all. So that is in that context also, we must understand how this can be of use. So these are the sub goals of that main goal. First is the universal access to modern energy. By 2030, these goals are set up for taking a long vision. So it says that by 2030, they are ensuring the universal access to affordable, reliable, and modern energy sources. So every country must do something or the other to provide access to modern energies. That is what they mean. Second target here, they say, is that to increase global percentage of renewable energy. So whatever percentage as of now, whatever you have to increase it further so as to increase it till 2030. You have the targets are given to the countries so that they can have a mix of renewable as well as non-renewable. However, what the current demand is to increase the percentage of renewable energy more as compared to the non-renewable. Third target is to double the improvement in the energy efficiency. So altogether, double the improvement, that is what they mean. Next is promote access to research, technology, and investments in clean energy. Again, they are focusing more and more to research and invest more and more in these technological advancements and developing new ideas, and to develop some methods by which these renewable energies can be used, and they can be in excess of many fold people. So the next target would be to expand and upgrade energy services for developing countries. So if one country is able to develop these kind of methods, it is also a goal that the developing countries should pass it on to the developing countries as well. And that is why the whole topic says that we have to understand the importance of the alliance, that is the collaboration of various countries wherein they can share their ideas, wherein they can pass on their knowledge, and this way they can help to build a sustainable future. And that is why it is meant here also as a goal. So let us understand now the recent trends in energy sector. Energy crisis continues. So whatever you do, energy crisis would always be there because of multiple and interconnected global crises. Around 75 million people who recently gained access to electricity are likely to lose the ability to pay for it. This is one of the report which said that even if you are paying for the electricity or whatever, earlier you might not be having those the advantage of that using that electricity or anything, any energy sources, but over the period of time you will lose the ability to pay for it. So in some countries it has happened also because of inflation and the things like that. So still there is energy crisis in some parts of the world. 100 million people may revert to the use of traditional biomass for cooking because of the lack of resources available, because of the depletion of the resources. Again, people have to move towards the traditional biomass for cooking. Then decarbonized economies. What do you mean by this decarbonized economy? The emission of carbon should be reduced, and that is why we are calling it decarbonized. So economies now are focusing more on decarbon. So what has happened in the International Agency, Energy Agency predicts that the world is set to add as much renewable power in the next 5 years as it did in past 20 years. So the percentage increase you can very well see from this prediction that whatever the countries have achieved in the last 20 years, they will speed up within the next 5 years itself. The same with this, the same target they will be having in the next 5 years. So with that pace, they are working. The economist finds that overall renewable energy consumption will increase about 11%, with Asia leading the way. Total capacity growth worldwide of renewable power is set to almost double in the next 5 years, overtaking coal as the largest source of electricity generation by early 2025 globally. This we have already seen in that chart also. The use of coal has reduced significantly. Next is carbon accounting. Nowadays, carbon accounting is also taking place. Normally, we have heard about the financial accounting. What is carbon accounting? It is a way of calculating how much greenhouse gas an organization emits. Like financial accounting, carbon accounting quantifies the impact of an organization activities, though instead of financial impact, it tracks the climatic impact. The other thing was regarding the carbon credit. Carbon credit basically provides credit points. If your carbon emission is low, it provides you credit. Some countries have this policy of providing this carbon credits. So if you are an industry or a company which is eco-friendly, then you will be given this carbon credit, and these carbon credits you can pass it on to other companies and can earn also. So that way, that thing is also happening in different countries, and this will surely come to most of the countries, so that the people also get some incentives for emitting less carbon. So they will be incentivized by this method by the government. Next concept nowadays is of social audit. What is social audit? It is an assessment process that examines the social impact and benefits of renewable energy projects or initiatives. It ensures that renewable energy initiatives contribute positively to the social fabric of the communities involved. It provides transparency and accountability, and it also leads to a continuous improvement. Just as you have heard of, audit of your regular accounts, the companies have to go through these audits. The companies nowadays, if they have to, showcase their project to other countries, or if they want to list on some stock exchanges, the social audit exchange is also there nowadays. Social exchange is also there. Wherein they have to first go through this social audit. So they have to produce a report saying that we are not, harmful to the society. We are using the eco-friendly methods, and they provide some points on the basis of which marking or ranking is done. And if a company or if the industry fits into that, then only they can proceed further. So this social audit is also playing a very key role nowadays. Then energy transition. Normally, it seems very easy to talk in theoretical that we must move on to this renewable energy, but it is very difficult. So if a company is using coal as a fuel, directly it cannot move to renewable energy because it also requires a huge investment. If you want to go for solar or if you want to go for wind energy or something like that, it again requires a huge investment. Then again, training the employees is also a big issue. How to train the people which were earlier working on some different set of machinery, now they have to work on a different set maybe. So again and again, that kind of challenges are also there. But this is again this energy transition is also very trendy nowadays, that people are switching from the normal the conventional energy to renewable energy. Like in day-to-day life, we are also seeing that people are not just going for the petrol or diesel cars. They are now moving to e-vehicles, electronic vehicles. They are moving to that. So that the same way, this is happening in the industries also. So throughout 2022, there has been a growing recognition of the need for a just transition to a low carbon economy, which culminated at COP27 with several announcements. South Africa signed loan agreements worth with euros 600 million with France and Germany as a part of its continued efforts to implement the Just Energy Transition Partnership announced at COP26. And the other countries also they were also willing to enter into this kind of partnerships. So again, the alliance is very important. It is not just one country taking into these kind of initiatives. The other countries are also joining hands, and that way they can transit from one phase to other phase. Building a healthier, cleaner planet underpinned by low carbon energy systems will require a new way of thinking on how we build and maintain the environment and our use and access to natural resources. Well, let us now see what are the green initiatives taken all over the world, so that we also come to know that these are not just theoretical things. These are the things which are really happening over the period of time throughout the world. So first is the green building certification. This is a different kind of certification. Let us see what is that. Various green building certification and standards such as LEED, that is Leadership in Energy and Environmental Design, and BREEAM, that is Building Research Establishment Environmental Assessment Method, encourage sustainable building practices. These certifications promote energy efficiency, water conservation, and environmentally friendly construction material. So if you are certified with these associations or these people, then it gives a better credit and it gives a better recognition in the society. So this certification is very, very important. Then carbon pricing. Some government and regions have implemented carbon pricing mechanisms such as carbon taxes or cap and trade system. These initiatives put a price on carbon emission to incentivize businesses and individuals to reduce their carbon footprint and transition to low carbon practices. As we just discussed this, that carbon pricing or carbon credits are also given this way. The other is plastic reduction and bans. In many countries, there is a drive each and every time regarding this plastic reduction and the ban on plastic material. Many countries and cities have been implementing these bans over the use of periods, so they are not. They even promote in schools also, not the students or the children should not carry the plastic tiffin boxes or the things made up of plastic. They should not be using that, and that is why it allows them to have a better understanding of the environment. Next,
Divya, sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, I'll be just finishing it off in 2-3 minutes maximum.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So the next is greens. This circular economic initiative, it again says that you have to use these three methods: reducing, reusing, recycling, to minimize the waste, etc. Then sustainable transportation, we have already understood. Then the waste management and recycling programs, a detailed session, I think it's already planned today itself for you. So how to manage the waste and recycle, again, that is a part of the story which is taking all around the world. So great things in business are never done by one person, they are done by a team of people. And that is why there is a need of global alliance for sustainable energy. And there is again a sustainability development goal also, goal number 17, which talks about this partnership for the goals. So these are the initiatives taken by the G20 countries, like increasing adoption of renewable energy, energy transition targets, investment in clean technologies, renewable energy subsidies and incentives, international cooperation, etc. And this is just an example which Indian government has taken in the transport sector, which leads to net zero future. The electric vehicle, as we can see, the whole report is there, how it reduces the pollution and everything. Transition tension, as we have already understood, that though these things seem to be very simple when we are talking about them, but practically implementing it is a tough task. So the companies which are into it, or the investors which are into it, they really see a tough time. So that is what the focus should be on these days. How can we contribute? As we all know, the simple things: switch off the appliances when they are not in use, educate and raise awareness. Energy audit should be conducted, energy efficient lighting should be there, and you need to buy rechargeable electronics and things like that. And that is why you can, in daily life, contribute to these goals. That is all from my side. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Divya. That was a wonderful presentation. And I think you have covered almost all the topics of today. That's what I feel. Overall, it was a very comprehensive thing that you have presented. And we thought of summing it up, but I know we'll be lost in summing it up. We'll be definitely missing out on a few points. So we leave it open to the audience to take it up later. And then towards the end, and definitely we'll need your presentation for summing it up. Thank you so much. Over to that. Without taking much time, I would request Ms. Sandhya Balaji to invite the next speaker. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Ms. Divya. It was wonderful listening to you again. So now we move on to the next speaker. Probably we should start by saying sharing is caring. We all know. So nations should share their knowledge, best practices, and technology so that they can collectively promote sustainable consumption and production patterns. So how international cooperation and coordination help us to advance towards a more resource efficient and circular economy. To speak about this, we have with us Dr. Ruben Garcia from Peru, who is an educator and English language teacher with over 30 years of experience in ESL and ELT. He holds a degree in education and Master of Applied Linguistics and TESOL, that is teaching of English to speakers of other languages from New South Wales, Australia. He also works as a coach in leadership, personal development, and professional growth. He's the CEO and founder of Assertive Leadership College, which is a consulting company for professional and personal growth. He's also the president of International Chamber of Language Teachers at Peru. And he's also the president at Organización Internacional de Conferencistas. So we welcome Dr. Ruben Garcia and looking forward to listen to your inputs.
Thank you very much. And thanks a lot for your kind invitation to talk about these very important topics, because we are learning together. Let me start by telling you that many countries account for approximately 75% of global material used and 80% of global greenhouse gas emissions. Their governments thus play a key role in working towards increased resource efficiency and material circularity. When accounting for materials embedded in trade, resource efficiency improvements of most countries are more modest. Unless further efforts are taken to increase resource efficiency, close materials loops, and improve sustainable materials management, the growing volumes of material use will result in significant environmental pressures, including land degradation, greenhouse gas emissions, and the dispersion of toxic substances in the environment. With benefits environmental, economic, and social domains, there is a clear rationale for countries to further advance the transition to a more resource-efficient and circular economy. Several countries have started to develop national strategies for sustainable materials management, resource productivity, or the circular economy. Resource efficiency has been on the agenda since a long time ago, and resource efficiency dialogues have been held, providing a platform for exchanging views, policy experiences, and good practices. Resource efficiency and circular economy principles need to be mainstreamed in domestic policies, taking into account specific country contexts. Action needs to be aligned to fully leverage the role of cities of improvement materials management. So if we can mention now to promote resource efficiency through a policy mix that covers the full life cycle of products. Environmental risks are complex and need to be managed in an integrated way. This requires the application of a policy mix that considers the entire life cycle of products to avoid simply displacing environmental burdens to different life cycle stages from one environmental medium to another. A policy mix of economic instruments, regulations, information-based voluntary approaches, environmental labeling, and public financial support should internalize environmental costs and provide incentives for efficient resource use. We need to align sectoral policies with resource efficiency objectives. The transition to a circular economy requires a comprehensive set of policy measures at the macroeconomic and sectoral level. Resource efficiency and circular economy should be approached as an economic-wide use, recognizing the economic benefits with regards to competitiveness, new business opportunities, and innovation, as well as greater resilience against scarcity of resources and volatile prices. Furthermore, opportunities should be sought and exploit synergies with other policies areas, including climate change. Governments can support a resource-efficient structural economy to change the mainstream of pursuit of resource efficiency into cross-cutting policies such as in innovation, investment and education, and vocational training by aligning policies to reduce pressures from major resource-consuming sectors. How about align COVID-19 recovery measures with resource efficiency objectives? In response to COVID-19 pandemic, many countries committed to a green recovery through stimulus packages and unprecedented scale. However, only a small share of the recovery measures announced so far, approximately 1% of the total funds, addresses aspects of resource efficiency and waste management. A transition to more resource efficient and circular economy can contribute to reach long-term environmental objectives and lead job creations and economic growth. As such, the circular economy can support economic recovery, provided that resource efficiency objectives sufficiently mainstreamed in COVID-19 recovery measures. And if we continue to talk about this important topic, we can mention that we need to strengthen policy development and evaluation through better data and analysis, because many countries have established material flow accounts and are developing indicators for resource efficiency and the circular economy. However, important gaps in existing measurement frameworks persist. Appropriate indicators should be developed to measure the environmental externalities associated with resource consumption, the contribution that resources make to economy development, and the microeconomy and employment benefits associated with resource efficiency gains. Where possible, these indicators and metrics should be harmonized across countries, regularly updated, and made publicly available. Policy evaluation should also be strengthened to identify good practices and work towards better policies. Take a phased approach from waste to resource. A specific country context require different policy approaches and priorities. The journey from waste to resource can be structured along 4 phases towards reaching a more resource efficient and circular economy. These phases can serve to identify policy priorities in given context depending on where a country situates itself. They are not strictly sequential and may overlap. To ensure that hazardous substances in waste are managed in environmentally sound manner, we separate hazardous waste from other waste at resource and manage hazardous waste streams separately in environmentally sound facilities. So STAR implemented a material cycle, increasingly shifts away from controlled disposal and more towards material recovery and recycling. STAR implementing the polluter pays principle and establish extended producer responsibility schemes and landfill taxes. Keep waste materials and segregated to minimize contamination and facilitate reuse, remanufacture and recycling. For waste that cannot be recycled, develop environmentally sound energy recovery facilities and ensure state-of-the-art landfilling for residual wastes where no further materials and or energy can be recovered. We need to work towards higher value materials loops and waste prevention. Mainstream resource efficiency across value chains and enable industrial symbiosis. Maximize repair, reuse, and remanufacturing activities. Encourage eco-design that allows products to be repaired, reused, and recycled. Enlarge recycling activities to more waste streams and maximize material recovery. Cities have important competencies and levers in infrastructure sectors that are key of the circular economy, such as waste management and recycled urban transport, the built environment and water supply and sanitation. These services are often managed at the municipal level, and aligning policy action on the subnational and urban level with national policies is thus important to advance the circular economy and to fulfill national targets. Ensure responsibility with regional and national governments and stakeholders. Cities can act as promoters, facilitators, and enablers of city circular economy then. As promoters, the cities can define roles as responsibilities in policy making and implementation of the circular economy at the local scale. As facilitators, cities can ensure co-coordination across different levels of governments to align priorities, goals, regulation, and fund sources. As enablers, cities can include resource efficiency principles in sectoral policies, such as in the built environment, spatial planning, land use, and service provision. So the international cooperation and coordination to advance towards a more resource efficient and circular economy. So we're talking about possible areas where countries can work together. And this include to support businesses in their value chain management efforts towards improved resource efficiency, alleviate barriers to trade and investment of environmental goods and services to ensure the diffusion and best available environmental technologies, harmonize environmental labels and information skills, improve data indicators and accounts on resource efficiency and waste, mainstream resource efficiency and material recovery into official development assistance more systematically. As you can all notice after this talk, it is extremely demanding to efficiently work towards higher value material loops and waste prevention. And this again, waste prevention. Thank you very much for your kind attention. Best regards from Lima, Peru.
Thank you so much, Professor Ruben Garcia. Thank you for your insightful information, and definitely resource efficiency and circular economy should be the cornerstone for all of it. So thank you again for being with us today. Thank you. Sandy?
We now move on to our next speaker, and I tender my apologies to Miss Caroline. I need to invite Dr. Eliko to speak further. Do I see her here?
She's there.
Dr.
She's there.
Eliko?
Yes, she's there. You can do the introduction for, yes.
Yeah. I just need a minute to introduce you. Dr. Eliko Akobia is from Georgia, and she's an English teacher. She works in Marchville Municipality, Orchards and Talaris Public School. And since 13 years, and she loves her profession and children, and she's very active and communicates, and she's a result-oriented person. And she's involved with many educational organizations such as IIU, 21st Exists in Skills, Global Future Foundation, or many others. And she wants to take part in this organization as a speaker, moderator, panelist, and ambassador. She has, she looks forward to, she has many awards and accolades. And yeah, so may I invite her to speak on her pointer allotted to her. Welcome, Dr. Eliko.
Everyone. Okay, hello everyone. I am Eliko from Georgia, an English teacher, private tutor, and international speaker. About ensure that hazardous managed in an environment sound manager. Can you listen me?
Yeah, we see you, but not your presentation.
Yes, I cannot share. I am with my mobile phone. We have not here the light. Please excuse me.
Okay, please carry on.
Welcome environment. Okay. Welcome everyone to this presentation on ensuring the environmentally sound management of hazardous substances in waste. Hazardous substances can pose significant risk to human health and the environment if not managed properly during waste disposal. In this presentation, we will explore the importance of proper waste management, the risk associated with hazardous substances, and the key strategies to ensure environmentally sound practices. Understanding hazardous substances. Define hazardous substances. These are materials that, due to their chemical or physical properties, pose potential risk to human health and the environment. Examples of hazardous substances: toxic chemicals, flammable materials, corrosive substances, and radioactive waste. Proper identification of hazardous waste is crucial. Risk of improper waste management, environmental impacts, pollution of air, water, and soil leading to ecosystem degradation, human health risk. Exposure to hazardous substances can cause acute and chronic health problems. Legal consequences. Improper waste management can lead to regulatory violation and legal penalties. Environmentally sound waste management. The environmentally sound management approach is crucial for handling hazardous waste safely. Minimize waste generation. This is the principles. Properly classify and segregate hazardous waste from non-hazardous waste. Ensure safe storage, transportation, and disposal of hazardous waste. Promote recycling and reuse wherever possible. Encourage public awareness and education about hazardous waste management. Hazardous waste management hierarchy. The waste management hierarchy has prioritized waste management strategies: source reduction, reduce the generation of hazardous waste as a source, recycling and reuse, repurpose hazardous waste into useful products, treatment, employ safe and effective treatment methods to neutralize and reduce hazardous properties. For these energy resources, use waste-to-energy technologies to generate power from certain hazardous waste. Fifth, disposal, responsible disposal of non-recyclable and non-reusable hazardous waste. Best practices for hazardous waste management. Proper waste characterization, identify hazardous substances accurately to determine appropriate handling and disposal methods. Safe storage and containment. Use secure containers and storage facilities to prevent spills and leaks. Transportation safety. Adhere to regulation for the safe transportation of hazardous waste. Training and awareness. Train personnel in proper handling techniques and raise public awareness about hazardous waste disposal. Regular inspection and monitoring periodically access waste management facilities for compliance and safety. International regulation and initiatives. Basel Convention, an international treaty to control the transboundary movement of hazardous waste. Stockholm Convention focuses on the reduction or elimination of persistent organic pollutants. Sustainable Development Goals. Goal 12 emphasizes responsive consumption and production, which includes waste management. National legalization. Many countries have specific laws governing hazardous waste management. Successful implementation. Highlight a case study of a company or city that effectively implemented environmentally sound hazardous waste management practices, discuss the positive impact on the environment and community health. In conclusion, emphasize the importance of ensuring environmentally sound management of hazardous substances in waste, encourage collaborative efforts between governments, industries, and individuals to promote responsible waste management. Let's work together to protect our environmental and safeguard the health of future. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you so much, Eliko. I have to say that waste management definitely is one of the most important strategies, and it is so encompassing because there's so much. So thank you again for sharing your message with us today. Thank you.
Thank you a lot.
It's now my duty to invite the next speaker, who is going to speak on how do we align COVID-19 recovery measures with resource efficiency objectives. We're all looking for a beautiful post-pandemic future, and we'd like to have our inputs from our academician, Professor Jelena Bošković from Serbia, who's a distinguished scholar and educator with a profound academic journey spanning multiple disciplines. Professor Bošković holds a PhD in genetics and plant breeding from the University of Novi Sad. As a full professor of the Belgrade Metropolitan University and director of IRASA Institute, she's an expert in various fields and is acknowledged globally. And she has a remarkable portfolio of over 595 scientific papers, numerous awards, and extensive mentorship. Professor Bošković has contributed significantly to the realms of genetics, plant resistance, and higher education development. To be more precise with the numbers, she has 60 doctoral dissertations, 110 master's theses, and mentor of 780 graduate theses. And she's a renowned international speaker as well. We welcome you, Dr. Jelena Bošković.
Dr. Jelena, welcome. Dr. Jelena, can
thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for
Jelena.
my life experience. My colleague,
Jelena.
Good.
Please wait. Dr. VJ Caroline has a bad network. She would try before. Ona će počet prije tebe. Par minuta.
Okay.
Yeah, please.
Okay. No problem. No problem.
Okay.
I optimism. I have time for conference.
Dr. VJ Caroline, you can open your camera.
Thank you,
Dr.
Professor.
VJ.
Very kind of you.
No problem. My colleague, no problem.
Dr.
Ms.
VJ.
Sanji, we need to invite Dr.
Yes,
Sanji.
Dr. VJ, welcome. Please, Dr. VJ don't have a connection, so let us have her a few minutes, please.
Yeah, we have with us Dr. VJ Caroline, who's an English professor at T. Gala Krishna Reddy Engineering College, Hyderabad. And she's a counseling psychologist and also a general secretary at Progressive Psychologists Association of India. She's secretary at Lions Club International in the Navabharat district. And she's the chairman of Life Foundation and managing director of Vishwa Humanity United International Royal Council. So she's here to talk about how to start implementing a material cycle that leads to sustainability. We welcome you, Dr. Caroline, and looking forward to your inputs.
Thank you very much for inviting me. It's a great honor to be on this prestigious platform, especially. And just I joined and heard the speech of the eminent speaker. Much delighted to be with the among the eminent speakers globally. I'm Dr. Caroline. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to all global leaders who joined us. My topic is about implementing or to start the recycling of the materials, which is very, very important. We know that the materials which contains atoms and elements, the materials which are of biotic and abiotic, we notice the cycling of the abiotic and cycling of the biotic products, which are very important. The nature taught us that the products has to be recycled, then there will not be any kind of wastage. If we observe that the trees, while they're shedding their leaves during autumn, they absorb certain materials which are very important for their survival. So we need to observe the nature. Nature will teach us many things. And to sustain, to lead a sustainable life, they will be absorbing certain products while they're shedding off. Similarly, we need to understand that we need to recycle the products. What will happen if we do not recycle the products? The wastage will be high, energy consumption will be low, and this affects the environment. The environment need to have a sustainable life, and human beings need to understand, especially if you observe that while during construction of the material, the houses, we notice that materials which are going as a waste. We need to understand the materials which we get from the resources. During extraction also, we notice a lot of energy consumption and wastage will be high, and certain elements or the gases which is being released during extraction that impacts the environment. That pollutes and that has a great impact on the lives of the people. So it is very important that when we are extracting the elements or the materials from the resources, we have to take a precautionary measures which will not impact the environment. It is a common thing that whenever there is extraction, definitely there are certain products which affect the environment. So we need to understand the better utilization of the products which has been extracted from the resources. We know that all the metals or the materials, we get it from the natural resources. So from the earth crust, it is very important how best we can extract and implement for the betterment of the society. So recycling of the products is very, very important. We need to understand reuse, reduction of the wastage has to be addressed. So reuse of the products are very important. So I feel that whenever we notice during any act of the human being, intervention of the human being, the loss of the products are high. So the wastage should not be there. It will be affects the environment. It is very important that it has to be recycled. So either biotic or abiotic. If we observe that recycling of the materials, there are two types, that is biotic and abiotic. Biotic, if we observe that water cycle, nitrogen cycle, carbon cycle, that is meant for the betterment of the living organisms. This cycle, if you notice that whatever the raw material, that is for the utilization of the plants or animals. So whatever the output is given by the plants and animals, that is utilized as a raw material for the other cycle, other reactions. So we need to understand by observing the biotic cycle, how best we can utilize for our non-biotic cycles. So it is important, being an intellectual human being, we need to understand that there should not be any kind of wastage and impact. We have to observe that there should not be any kind of impact on the environment. We know the work, the activities which we are doing that is impacting the environment, the emissions, especially from the fossil fuels, that is causing a lot of global warming and climate change. We need to address all these issues, and we have to better to implement the usage, the recycling of the materials. I'm sorry, I'm stopping here because I'm a little bit busy with the counseling. So thank you very much for giving this opportunity.
Thank you, Dr. Carolyn. That was quite inceptive and also very informative when we talk about recycling materials and things we recycle, starting from things we recycle at home to the environment and relating it to the earth. that was quite very relatable and which we can just follow it as preservation of the resources. Definitely, we will do it and we will adopt it by saving the energy. Yes, we come to that and we are gathered here on this platform to talk about it, talking about the environment of the security of the environment, lessening the landfill, cement, etc., all these cater to the recycling part of it, and also talking about the material part of it, how the materials can be reduced and recycled and reused with the basic knowledge of EPA. Definitely, your information was quite instructive and informative. Thank you. Thank you for joining us despite all odds. And it was a pleasure having you here, ma'am. Thank you. Over to Ms. Sandhya Balaji to welcome the next speaker. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Dr. Caroline, to be present here in spite of your busy schedule. And now it's once again time to invite our Dr. Elena Boskovich, and we are all ears, ma'am, to listen to you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for the invitation. Good afternoon and evening. Please screen share. Please screen share. Yes.
Dr. Yelena, you can screen share, no problem. Option is open.
Oh yeah. Šta sad bi? Ček. Šta sad bi, Nado?
A ne zna nešto vam tu nije, probajte kliknuti, mora vam, otvoreno i možete dijeliti.
Mogu deliti, evo, ali kako sad da se vratim Nado, kako da se vratim na ovaj naš?
Znači ideš na screen share.
Čekaj, idem na screen share, ok, that's ok.
I onda pronađeš gdje je tvoja prezentacija,
Evo
klikni
je.
na nju, ali ne dijeliš nama, još mi ne vidimo da dijeliš.
Aha, još ne vidite.
Ne dijeliš još.
Šta da radim, Nado, kako?
Znači ti moraš kliknuti na share screen.
Evo ovako. Evo, kliknula sam.
Jel vidiš li sad prezentaciju svoju?
Vidim, evo je.
Klikni na nju.
Evo.
Eto ga, bravo!
Yeah, that's okay.
Full screen.
Yes, full screen, yes.
Click on the full screen.
Okay, that's okay. Good morning.
It's
Afternoon.
not a full screen. Please, full screen. Click.
Full screen, yeah.
No, nije.
You're able to see, it's okay.
No, Dr. Skrividia, last time the slides didn't move, so let us see the slides, please.
Full screen.
No, it is not full screen.
Full screen, Nado je. Kako da uradim sada?
Yeah, you can go to views, and
Views,
then
dolje, views, u podnožju, views.
You can stop screen share, and once again, when it is in full screen,
That's okay?
mode, you share it.
Yeah.
That's
Just,
okay, Nado, sad ovo.
you can go to the view tab above. You have home, design, animation, slideshow, review, and then
Slideshow, go on the slideshow. Click on the
or slideshow and then do the show.
Okay. Jel vidiš, Jelena, slideshow gore?
Slideshow ne vidim. Vidim stop share. Vidim stop share. Ne vidim, pošto nije napravljena nazva slideshow, jer ja vrtim, Nado. Ja je okrećem.
Hoćeš je sa mnom podijeliti?
Kako da je tebi pošaljem?
Nado,
ja ću okretat, ne brini, ja ću okretati.
Dobro, ok.
No problem.
Ok.
No problem. Good afternoon and evening, dear ladies and gentlemen, excellence, eminent science, university professor, representative of international organization, guest of honor and participant in extremely important G20 international conference. I owe a special thanks of the invitation to be guest speaker, the organizer this important global conference and my all colleague, special Professor Dr. Nada Ratkovic and Sridia Sumakar, etc. Today, through a presentation, I will present the wide range and impact of COVID-19 on agriculture, human health, nature resources, and climate change, which play an important role in a segment of life on plentiful earth. One of the biggest challenges in managing in the food sector during a pandemic crisis is sustaining a robust food security system and adapting the right strategy in correlating the consumer need and requirement with those food safety to producer, the distribution chain, the economical environment, and vast management. The restriction on people global movement, accommodation, and service in the measure tend to reduce the spread of COVID-19 have distributed food environment around the world and force the completely redesign and optimize our systems using existing resources from a more sustainable perspective. The specific impact of the COVID pandemic on agriculture and nature resources. Food security. When all people and time have physical, social, and economic access to sufficient, safe, and nutritious food that meets their food preference and dietary need for active and healthy life, source United Nations Committee. A community enjoys food security when our people time have access to nutrition, safe, personality acceptable, and cultural appreciated foods produced with an environmentally and social just. Fourth dimension to food security, food ability, food accessibility, food sustainability, food utilization. Global Food Security Index 2025 is bad situation in world. Number of people country facing acute food insecurity. Security post six years. This problem today.
Dr. Yelena, we don't see the presentation no more. We lost your presentation, Dr. Yelena.
Mnogo.
Ne vidimo ti, ja ti ne vidim ništa na ekranu.
Pa moram onda da skratim, znaš, napravit ću sada. Sad ću napravit ću nada ovako.
Ajde, molim te, ne vidim.
Evo ovako, evo sada. Vidiš sad?
Da.
Sad vidiš.
Okay.
That's okay. The big problem today in war, Russia and Ukraine, problem in food security, in transition security, big problem to country, Ukraine, Russia. Basic two criteria, irrelevance to COVID-19 and ecosystem, attributed and access document and 502 documents screened from Web of Science portal, only 65% fully retention criteria. Why the war in Ukraine? Treatment global food security. Problem wheat, barley, maize, rapeseed, sunflower. COVID in importance in agriculture, human health, environment, and especially climate change. Impact COVID-19 by sector and regional effects. Non-renewable nature resources, agriculture, biodiversity, water and energy, tax revenue currency strength, profitability of firm, increase in poverty in world, government economic capacity, job destruction. Country, territory, number people in food security, Democratic Republic in Congo, Ethiopia, Afghanistan, Nigeria, Yemen, Myanmar, Syrian Arab Republic, Sudan, Ukraine, Pakistan. Problem nature gas, COVID-19. Sustainable Development Goals. Pioneer Grant Mosaic, land sharing, land decision, climate change, global deal for nature, COVID pandemic, realigns local economic. Big problem. Characteristic and intensity of impact. Diseases, decreases working capacity, social discord, physical, mental, death, stress, trauma. Current risk healthy estimation will increase in global warming, exacerbating diseases and illness, reduce work capacity in the world and pandemic. Global climate change, directly and indirectly contribution of the spread of diseases and premature mortality after climate change, indirect and direct. Big presentation, I'm sorry. Which climate change at human health, climate change, temperature, precipitation, and water. Indirect effects are in environment, ecological change, and consequence caused by climate change. Indirect impact, harm, illness. The main group of factors, physical, biological, and economical factors, affect human well-being, health, and ability to survive in any condition, but climate change will excellent intensity impact it. It is expected the climate change will affect epidemiology of many diseases, spread and control infection diseases, while physical and mental health are in hygiene condition as social and individual. In climate change continues in 4 cases, the human health risk will be statistically and likely affected from moderate to very high degree convenience. Map COVID-19 outbreak. COVID is by country. Not all impact human health related to climate change in NRW. I please title slide. Direction and magnitude change of selected health impacted climate change confidence level are assessment based in IPC guide on increasingly. Example impact associated a projected global average surface warming relative and pre-industrial epoch. Increase average temperature, intensity climate change impact in human health at present and the future, evaluating adaptive capacity. Climate change effect on human health and divided into primary, secondary, and tertiary. Great professional work outdoor climate change. Secondary effects include intense infection diseases and change sustainability. Climate change Territory affected human health increase from indirect more complex and long-term. Vulnerable group of the population affected by climate change. Scientists and scientific point to version aspect individual or today society, biological, more sensitive of climate change related health risk in the past. Affect urban, Queensland increased impact and reduced body difference. At present, the projected global climate change keeping state with the growth, the wealth population, the wide distribution of population density, wealth in growing demographic agenda. Until middle of 21st century, effect of climate change will manifest, escalate all already existing public health problems, promoting development of chronic diseases. Climate change, vector-borne diseases, is very dangerous. Vector disease. Or climate change in between different public association, economic group. Impact exceptional environmental condition health. Climate change concerns the both population in Europe. Europe's realm is a dangerous situation in Europe. Drought about increase risk natural fire. It affects directly the population living areas far and the future around. Climate change maximum daily temperature. Radiation, UV radiation. Affect radiation human health. Expresses minimum temperature with reduction cold related age. Most climate change scenario forces significant increase in frequency, intensity, rainfall, and intense participation will cause worsening risk and flood. Climate change risk flood frequency. Affect flood. Decrease water stream. Pollution. Climate change water availability due to climate change. Change food production and affect by several environmental factors such temperature, big problem. Climate change affect yield culture, and diseases. Million people living chronic short-term. Big problem, climate change promote illness. Person captive pathogen, much pathogen. Climate change pathogen, viral infection, bacterial infection, virus, etc. And bacteria, intestinal bacteria is problem future. Dangerous algae is problem, cyanobacteria toxin, allergen. Allergen Latvia, monitoring Latvia and Europe and world. Spore, serious allergen. It's an example much plants. Healthy physical, emotional, impact climate change. Problem in the big world. How Russian invasion Ukraine affect global food security? Barley, maize, sunflower oil, wheat. Natural gas domestic price. Russian Federation, Belarus, nitrogen fertilizer important by country of the world. Russian Federation and Belarus, potassium fertilizer important in country. Wow, what buying wheat from Russia and Ukraine? Export $1 million. Hunger exports. Food price already high, and 10 of million people extreme poverty go hungry in the coming year. Polymarket need to expect future distribution. Situation in the well synthesis condition. Conclusion and future. The COVID-19 pandemic and the pathogen, other pathogen has exposed with weakness and applying the instability in medical, social and economical system. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. It's big presentation, is a complex presentation, agriculture, natural resource, health human population, and war in the Ukraine, Russia, in the impact in food
The
security,
economy, yes. Dr.
economy,
Yelena, wonderful. It was really amazing. You gave us this situation, especially for us who are living in Europe. We feel that high prices every day, big inflation, big attack on our food and everything,
Yes.
what we are doing on our environment. Thank you. Thank you for this great
Thank you for
presentation.
attention.
Thank
Much hand for hungry in the world. Much. Thank you very much, my dear Nada. Thank you very much, my colleague. Thank you very much. All
you.
ladies
you.
and gentlemen.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
great Dr. Yelena. Thank you so much. Can you
Thank
stop?
you. Thank you very much. Thank
Can
you very
stop
much.
Sharing? Stop sharing, please. Stop sharing. Okay, great, wonderful. Dr. Sandy, will you say something?
Yes, Dr. Nada. Definitely, we all look forward for a prosperous post-pandemic future, and we have got so many inputs from Dr. Yelena, and we look forward to a sustainable future. And we've learned through the pandemic now. Yeah, so can we go ahead and call the next speaker? Yeah, so today with us we have Dr. Miril Chulekima. Have I got your name correct, ma'am? Yeah. She's an award-winning engineer and a global energy advisor, educator, entrepreneur, woman empowerment advocate, and a champion international speaker, and also a published author. She's a petroleum engineer, and she's gained experience working over 25 years in Africa, Europe, Asia, and Australia in various technical and leadership roles for major oil and gas energy companies. She's a multi-talented woman whose versatility and accomplishments across the energy sector have earned her global recognition. Dr. Chulekima is a non-executive director of Perth, Australian-based company MT Energy Resources, and she's also the co-founder of Women in Energy Global and global chair of energy and engineering of the eminent and prestigious G100 Club, Southern African regional ambassador and energy expert at Women Entrepreneurship Day organization. She contributes to several leadership and technical groups both globally And she's also here to talk about how we can bring in sustainability through sharing of knowledge, expertise, and other resources. Please, ma'am, the stage is all yours. Welcome once again.
Thank you so much for the introduction. And I don't know, good
I need
evening,
to
good
say
afternoon, wherever
one
you are.
sentence. She's simply the best woman, simply the best, all in one. Our great Dr. Miranda, all in one.
Thank you, Professor Nada. It's always a pleasure to be on one of the platforms sharing with you. And I also want to acknowledge the previous speakers. It's been an interesting and very insightful, conversation, and I've really enjoyed it. And I really want to, spend the next 10 minutes just talking about how the energy sector is transitioning, what are the challenges, and also how the circular economy can actually help us as we try to decarbonize our world. So I'm going to share a few slides to support my talk. Let's just. So can you see the presentation?
Yes, it is great. Yes.
Okay, all right. So I need to go to the slide. Okay, so I think the main topic was about international cooperation and coordination to advance towards the resource efficiency and circular economy. And just wanted to start, with just setting the scene on reminding ourselves the importance of energy in our lives. And it's a busy slide, but what we can see here, those are the natural resources that are actually helping us to get the electricity that we use for different, consumption, the gas that we use for us, the liquid fluid that we use for our cars, travel, and get the heat, in our houses, and also the direct thermal usage that, and all is coming from the natural resources, or coal and natural gas, and also the nuclear resources. And there's been, renewable energy, increasing use of renewable energy in the last few years, ranging from solar, wind, hydro, geothermal, and biomass. And I think one of the speakers actually went really in detail into it. And as you can see, energy is everywhere. I mean, we talk about the thermal power, which is our household, the buildings, up to the refrigerator that we have in our house, the air conditioning, the TV, the wind power is also, we have, it goes down to the trains that we use, the supply to every single, apparatus that we use in our houses. The gas is about, we go to the heater, the bath that we use in our houses. And again, the fuel for household and the residential electricity as well. And then the liquid fluid, which is more for the cars, I mentioned it. And then the thermal, which is, water heating and bath, and again, so different source of energy. So we are, using it all the time. So it is everybody's problem to really make sure that, we use the energy efficiently, and we know, the impact that we're creating when we use this energy. So just to really remember the huge impact that we have, because we create this demand, and we are at the beginning of the chain. And just to give you a little bit of insight on how this energy consumption is spread out. As you can see, here is we still have quite a lot of the oil is one of the coal, oil, and natural gas are still the primary global energy sources. Even if we see a lot of the renewable energy coming rapidly. And we're pushing, but what we can see right now is that, you know, just relying on renewable energy will not actually be able to fulfill the demand. So it is important that we think about, you know, transitioning. It's not going to happen just in one go. We are going to transition from a full coal, oil, and natural gas, transitioning through natural gas, which is a bit cleaner, and then to a full, you know, renewable energy system. And there's still a lot of, I mean, there are a lot of challenges. I mean, we've seen countries like Germany recently with what's happening in Ukraine, being completely cut off from their natural gas supply from Russia, to actually having energy problem, you know, a big energy problem, and the cost of the energy going really high. And this is a country that actually embraced renewable energy very early and really went rapidly into implementing it at all levels. But without, you know, the natural gas, obviously they're suffering right now, and it's very difficult. They're even thinking about going back to coal. So it is quite a challenging period. And what we can see is that yes, we have to go and you know, push the renewable energy to actually, you know, make sure that we produce less emission, but at the same time, it's still very expensive if we really want to rely on it. And the technology is still also, because the efficiency is still, you know, very average in some areas. So it is very important to understand that we have to go through a transition. But one thing that actually makes us really, you know, optimistic is the circular economy. And what we can see that we see that the circular economy can do is to transform the current linear economy that we have into a circular model that can reduce the consumption of, you know, the finite material resources by recovering material from waste stream for recycling and reuse, and using the products longer, and exploiting the potential of sharing, you know, and the service economy. So just to give you an idea, I think, you know, you probably know mostly what's going on. In a traditional sense, what we call in a linear economy, we have, you know, when we talk about the energy, you have the energy and material input, we produce it, we distribute it, we use it, and we dispose it. And there's obviously at the end of the chain, emission and waste that sometimes we can't manage, and that's create the pollution, that create the, you know, the CO2 emission that we now see. So and it's about, you know, take, make, use, dispose, and pollute. But what we're looking for with a circular economy model is to make, to use, to reuse, remake, and recycle. So have something that is circular and use, you know, every single material as long as we can. And that's something that can really help us as we look at decarbonization. And I mean, we talk a lot about the decarbonization. We talk a lot about climate change. So it is something that, and I think a lot of you know, bad press is going to the end of the chain, which is, you know, the company that are producing, the company that are using oil and gas, or that are producing oil and gas. But at the same time, we have to look at it as something that needs to be looked at as an integration, as a cooperation, as you know, working together. And there are several blocks in when we look at the decarbonization, and that's the picture that the slide that I'm showing here. So you have to look at several levels of when you look at the decarbonization. You have to look at the energy efficiency, which is at the beginning of a chain. look at having high efficient technology processes and utilities that can actually optimize the process of producing this energy. Then you have what we call the energy recovery and the waste of the heat, and also looking at the flexibility in terms of storage, in terms of how we produce it, and really make sure that we minimize the waste through this process. And then you have a more another block which is more about what I was talking about, which is the energy mix. You can't just rely on one single energy stream, especially if we talk about renewable energy, which is not, like I said, which is still very expensive for, if we really want to rely on it at 100%. And also the technology is not, the efficiency is still lagging behind. So we need to create an energy mix. And in this case, we're really looking at using more natural gas as the mix with the renewable energy, because natural gas is less polluting than coal and oil. So really integrating, integration of alternative sources of energy, and obviously, like I said, using the decarbonized gas, the biogas, the hydrogen, the syngas, and also the renewable heat and the recovery and the electrification of renewable electricity. So really building something from what we already use extensively, which is the gas, and bringing up the renewable energy to really transition slowly toward a cleaner future and decarbonizing, our environment. And at the extreme of this process is, when we already have the emission, is to really work on the technology part, which in this case is about, what we call in our industry the carbon capture and utilization, which is to, capture, use a technology to capture, all those reverse the green emission process, and making sure that we remove it from our environment. And the circular energy is really important in all of those processes, the 3 blocks that I've just described. And because, it's going to help us to continue whatever is going to come out, to continue to use it into the system, and really make sure that we have material efficiency and substitution when it comes down to those polluting agent that we are trying to eliminate. And then obviously we are in the middle of the 4th industrial revolution. There's a lot of technology around. The digitalization is something that is going to be really important, and we really need to use the potential that is offered by the digital economy. I mean, I've seen it already in some of the operation, especially with some of the companies that are looking technology to make sure they don't create too much footprint, especially when they want to do exploration, have unmanned operation, but using technology to get the right data to have them to process and to be able to create and produce whatever they need to produce or manufacture what they want to produce. I mean, we see things like AI, which is important because in most of those energy industry, we deal with things that we don't really see. So really having AI, having new technology to help us to have the right data to get the right forecast is also very important. And then the other aspect, the other level that we need to look at is the financial level, because at the end of the day, I think what actually really slowing down the renewable is the fact that it's still cost effective right now to be able to have a full system that can cater for 100% of the demand. So the business model and the financing is very important, and really, important to know that, this, whatever is implemented is actually cost effective and sustainable, because if it's not, then we will see that the renewable energy will stagnate. And we've seen actually recently, even in the UK, where, there were a lot of talking, in getting rid of, fossil fuel. They're going back to coal because they need, with what's happening in Europe, the war in Europe, they need this to fulfill the demand of their citizens. So it is quite a challenge right now, especially with what's going on. But at the same time, it is important that we understand that it's going to be, a transition. It's not going to be going from straight away to renewable fully, because there are a lot of factors that still need to be looked at. So it is complex. It is complex as we, as we want to really go and create a sustainable economy and with affordable energy, clean, affordable energy, but it has to be built on collaboration. So collaboration between government, collaboration between the education, collaboration between countries, collaboration between organizations, and collaboration between communities as well, because that's they are the one that actually create the demand. So really, for them to understand, the shift that we're trying to do, and building capability is going to be a key one as well, because we need to create the platform to educate, the people who are going to be, handling those new technology and those new way of producing energy. So I've seen here, there's several blocks that I'll see here. The job and economic impact, obviously, of this transition, if we have to work toward it. Like I said, I mentioned the education, the efficiency, which was mentioned also at the beginning, the foreign direct investment that needs to be put in place with different organizations. I mean, we see with the different COP meetings that, they're talking about, how to implement and put the funds to really push countries or communities to switch to renewable energy. There's also looking at the infrastructure, to see, to create smart infrastructure. This requires money, and also, making sure that we keep the security of energy supply, but we use energy for other things like food, for agriculture. So making sure that we keep this security going on, and just, making sure the integration doesn't create, more problem than anything. And just to really, summarize on this, there are, if we look at the circular economy, there are, we look at different pillars. So it starts with, obviously, energy is one of the big pillars, but you also look at, the water system, the biodiversity, the society and culture, which is us, the community, and the health of well-being of people, which is, this is what, we also want to avoid with the emission getting, even worse, and the value that is generated, beyond just the financial. And those are the important, and the material as well, that we really use at the beginning of the chain. So those are really the thing that needs to be looked at. We can't just look at it in an isolation. There's really a lot to be, integrated, and it is about collaboration. It's about coordination. How do we work together as, in cross industry and cross countries, cross government, and the private sector and, the government. How do we make sure that we are all aligned on this? And just to finish, really looking at, the resource, when you put, the resource efficiency in the circular economy, you're really looking at how efficiently you're going to manage your waste, because at the end of the day, when you look at the linear economy and also the circular economy, it's about waste management. In the linear economy, the waste are barely managed, but in the circular economy, we actually get to find a way to recycle these waste and make sure that they're not affecting, the environment more than it is right now. So that's really what I wanted to share, and really reiterate that whatever we do, we have to do it in collaboration, and also understand, that we are at the beginning of the chain, so we can influence things. And it is important that we understand how whatever we do and in our houses, on our community, impact this energy demand, and how it will be, important to understand how, with the technology and with the different tools and processes that exist, how we can definitely create a sustainable model that will help us to decarbonize our world, but also make our environment cleaner.
Thank you so much, Morel. It is always so enlightening to talk to you and to share the virtual podium. Thank you for letting us know where we use energy in our daily life. Sometimes we don't even know. Also, like Ruben Garcia said previously, resource efficiency and circular economy is today the most important thing, and we need to really continue to learn. And thank you for sharing the 7 pillars, because I think many times we think it's very difficult to attain, but if we all contribute and we all know where we can contribute, it really makes a change. And definitely the energy mix is key, so we don't rely on just one. I think we can also all do that. So thank you again for sharing and being so clear and so succinct in your message. Thank you so much.
You are welcome. Thanks, Virginia.
Thank you.
May I go ahead and call the next speaker?
Yes, please.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Dr. Mirel. Like we say, charity begins at home. So also the best energy practices begins at home. I think that's the idea we should be conveying to our generation and the next. And from excessive consumption to circular economy models. Today, we are looking at new trends in material consumption and waste generation. So to speak about these evolving trends, we have with us Dr. Ishrat Meera Mirzana, who has been patiently waiting right from the beginning. She was one of the first few to log in. She's a distinguished academician and she's a professor in mechanical engineering at Mufakkam Jah College of Engineering and Technology, Hyderabad. And with over 2 decades of teaching experience, she has authored over 20 textbooks in mechanical engineering and contributed extensively to scholarly journals and conferences. Her remarkable achievements include multiple patents, including Indian and Australian utility patents, as well as design patents and copyrights. Dr. Mirzana serves as a regional coordinator for UHVAICTE and conducts webinars or seminars on patents, project-based learning, and SDGs, and also mechanical engineering topics. Her accolades include awards for teaching excellence, research, and contributions to education. So welcome, Dr. Mirzana. We're looking forward to your inputs.
Thank you, ma'am. I thank the International Internship Institution for giving me this opportunity, because this platform I would like to utilize not just for sharing my knowledge, but it was a learning experience for me. So thank you, the world's first international internship university, for providing me this opportunity, and the Institute of Green Engineers for letting me to be a part of this G20 International Summit. My topic is in the trends in material consumption and waste generation. Like I'm not going with the stats or something okay, because my perspective of with respect to the topic given, I would like to correlate it with the SDG goals. 1 second. Yeah, like every one of us are well aware about SDGs. So when we say no poverty, so with respect to this material consumption, if we see every one of us are having some of the other things, for us, what looks as a waste may be something useful for somebody else. So it is like we have to donate or have a circulation of waste. What looks as a waste may be something very useful consumption for somebody else. So donate what you don't use it. That will help in us having no poverty. So this is how I would like to look forward my topic correlation with the SDGs. And when we say zero hunger, so we have to waste less food and support the local farmers. Because when we are talking about economy, usually we look forward for the gains, market gains. But in that case, it's the local farmer who is not getting benefited. So it's if we are supporting this local farmers and the proper farming facilities, then we'll not have the zero hunger or poverty. Both are in correlation. So next comes your health and well-being. So with respect to the correct consumption of the food, because if you are having excess or if you are having utilizing it if you are not consuming unhealthy food, even that will affect us. So the proper consumption, the quantity that we take it, how we maintain it, all this will also contribute towards the health and well-being and quality education. When we say quality education, with respect to the perspective, it's important to understand what exactly is the process, because most of the speakers have already given the awareness about circular economy. What exactly is circular economy and what was the previous perspective? What was the linear economy trend? All this have to be created, that awareness, that education should be given so that the waste management can be also inculcated from the childhood. And comes to the gender equality, we have to empower the women and girls. It's because when we talk about it, it's a woman who will be affecting or controlling or running the whole family. So if you are coming up with the rules and trends with the correct consumptions of material about the waste management, then definitely we can make a lot of difference. But the perspective when we say SDGs, gender equality, it's about empowering and giving equal rights. So in the equal rights, how exactly we can contribute towards the economy? This is with the material utilization. Then coming to the clean water and sanitation, we have to come up with the ways of avoiding the wasting of the water, recycling of the water. What are the technologies that are being utilized? The gray water filtration systems, the way we want to have when we are talking about the food waste, we should be able to have the awareness of separating out the wet waste and the dry waste. Thereby, the recycling process when we are talking about affordable and clean energy, this energies, we have to work towards the sustainable energies rather than renewable energies. What exactly is that is when we are talking about the renewable energies. If we take the solar energy itself, we are utilizing solar panels. But for the production of solar panels, we utilize the silicon. Its production process, it's again harming the nature. So we are again, though we are saying we are using natural resources, it is impacting the climate, which is your SDGs 13. So we have to come up with innovative ways of utilizing the technologies or the know-how, The technology know-how should be changed so that we can have the affordable energy. Then we talk about the decent work and economic growth. That is, we have to create jobs. The jobs should be green jobs because we are having one planet. There's no planet B or plan B. So we have to create green jobs wherein the youth will be working towards the economic growth, at the same time will not cause any harm to our planet Earth. Then we talk about industry, innovation and infrastructure. We have to fund the projects which provide the basic infrastructure. So the consumption, the most consumed material worldwide is concrete. The concrete has the highest green gas emissions. The other way to provide a solution for this is we can think of the plastic waste, the plastic covers which are there, or the plastic, whatever is there. It can be compacted and we can come up with the bricks. So those can be built up, utilized for building a block of a home. So it's about the whatever waste is there, it should be recycled and reused. So that should be the perspective when we are talking about the industry, innovation and infrastructure. And reduced inequalities. So support, when we are having excess, it should be supported to the others. Then comes the sustainable cities and communities. So when we talk about this, it's about, instead of using this, most of us have been following, like we use the carpool or we have to use the public transportation. Because in that case, only we'll be reducing the carbon footprint. Next, more correlated to my topic is the responsible production and consumption. So we have to think in lines of recycle, paper, plastic, whatever is there, can it be recycled? The way the resource is being produced, can it be the resource itself can be recycled one? So that's how, from that point of view, if the source, then production, then consumption and waste. This is the linear economy. But if we talk about the circular economy, as Madam has already covered the topic, I'm not going in much detail. So we have to think about the conversation of this waste energy, whatever waste disposable is there, that should be the resource material for my production. Then climate action, we have to act now to stop this global warming. So we have to reduce the greenhouse emissions. Then we have to work towards the reducing the carbon footprint. This is possible if we really focus upon how material consumption we are doing. What is that trend we are following? And to protect the water below the earth, life below the earth, we know that we are the maximum harming the environment by the utilization of plastics. So the plastic consumption has to be reduced drastically. The life on land can be protected if we plant a tree, and we have to protect the environment. So this awareness, when we are saying consumption, it's like we have to protect the earth, at the same time come up with the new, because if we are talking about planting a tree, from the tree we get the fresh air, and at the same time it will help in building up our health. And at the same time, there are many utilities. There are ways of utilizing it for the health purpose and all those things. And when we are talking about it, we have to raise our voice. What is wrong, right is right. So when it comes to the production, because it's already a trend of using our natural resources and coming up with the benefits and all that. But we have to raise our voice, like to work to protect towards the environment. If we can't stand up for that, then we are not able to achieve the SDG 16, that is justice. And right now we are with the partnerships, and we are coming together from different platforms so that we can create this awareness of 3 Rs. So coming to the facts and figures, as per the SDG report, we can see that the consumption, total material consumption, domestic consumption has increased globally. And it is, and that's the reason, though we have seen that how as human, We are the ones who are polluting the environment much more. And during the COVID period, we have seen how nature has tried to rebuild itself when we were not intervening with it. But it's not possible all the times. We have to live in harmony with the nature, but not work in against with the nature. And we have seen that there is a steep rise in the Eastern and Southeastern Asia, especially for the domestic material consumption, which needs to be reduced. And there's a world food that is being wasted. The world food was lost after harvesting, but before reaching retail markets. What is the cost for it? Because we are not looking like whatever we are getting the product from after the farming. Are we coming with the techniques of production of the same? Are we having the warehouses which are very protecting our food that is being generated? Whatever vegetables we are having, can it be solar dried? So the technology development, whatever is there, should contribute towards it. And an estimate of 17% of the total food available to the consumers is wasted at household, food service and retail levels. So as I said, the consumption and it should be, the trend should start at the individual level. Because when we are talking about the food that is being wasted, goes into the landfills. Thereby, it will be leading to the greenhouse gas emissions. The e-waste has been increased drastically. So how to recycle this e-waste? Whatever systems, usually in an IT industry, they utilize a laptop or anything for just 3 years and they just put it in recycle. Instead of that, there are ways of the same system can be provided to a government aided schools or whichever community underprivileged people can be utilizing for that. Or there are ways of, there are different components in it. There are useful materials. There is a minerals which can be extracted from this waste. But the extraction process, whatever is being followed, should be such that it should not harm the nature. Coming to the trend of material consumption and waste generation, with respect to the perspective, I'm not trying to give it a global market perspective, but at the individual level, if we see at the individual level, previously at an older age, the economy, the earning power was less. At the same time, the consumption level was less. Whereas now, because we have blessed to have a good earning power, we just waste the money by by buying things beyond our consumption. So this at an individual level, and awareness is important. Like we should not, because previously the people used to cook at home. But right now we are having everything at the click of an app. The things are served. So we try to have excess. So that is also is not an good ideology when we want to reduce the waste. And at the family level, we can see that before there used to be a joint families and all that, but we have shifted over to a nuclear system wherein the awareness is not being created at the younger generation about the waste management, the water consumption, proper how and what way to utilize the products utilization. Because most of us do this, that we just switch on laptops or whatever electronic gadgets are there. But we don't switch off we just do the closing of the laptop, but we don't switch off or do the shutdown. Even that will be consuming, though it's no load condition, there's a minimal power consumption and there are radiations. So all this has to be minimized. So as I said, the traveling, everything should be minimized. When it comes to the societal level, we have to think about not just the rocket science, but sustainable farming, agriculture, because the material consumption at the lower level, grassroots thought process, the critical thinking with respect to how we can come up with the newer technologies that can help the community. We have to work towards that. If we are talking about a solar energy plant, it should be for the community. But if it comes to the family level, at the family level, instead of having a solar power plant, the other alternative is we can have gravity light. The gravity light concept is we are just using chlorinated water, which can be, if we are using a plastic bottle, in that we keep the chlorinated water with the gap, that will help in enlightening or helps in lightning purpose. Or if it is for the individual level, we can have the, instead of a chlorinated level, we can have the gravity with the weight. As it moves, the mechanism, it can lighten the bulb. So we have to think about how to minimize the waste, reduce the carbon footprint, whatever materials which we think are the waste, what is the technology that can be blended with it, come up with the newer technologies. And as I said, we have to move from the linear to circular production process. So why we want to go to the circular economy is to maximize the value of the materials and minimize the material consumption. And we want to avoid the hazardous substances, prevent waste from being generated, and reduce the hazardous components. So as it is detailed, I'm not just focusing on the circular economy, but when it comes to the waste hierarchy, this is where we talk about 3 R's. So when we want to talk about the disposable, we have to minimize, that is the landfill waste. Without energy recovery, if we are disposing, it's of no use. The energy recovery, use waste as a fuel in energy and heat production. Even when we are talking about the heat that is produced from a two-wheeler's exhaust, that can be utilized as the power. That power can be utilized in the system of a bike itself. You can have a mobile charger system. So that can be an innovative idea. So as educators, as the leaders, we are the ones who have to train or mold the young minds to think about in these lines. Recycling, reprocess the waste for use as a secondary raw material. In whatever way, whatever things are there, how can we recycle the products? That should be the perspective. Reuse, that is, can I reuse these products? Prepare waste for the reuse. And prevention, reduce the waste generation and hazardous components in products. So if we are talking about the plastic spoons are one of the major consumptions. Instead of that, we can go for a millet spoons, which are healthier, good for that. It will not generate any waste. Yes, it increases the economy. But at the same time, if we think about the other perspectives, the material consumption, we are using a local made material that is from the farmers, and we are not generating any waste. It is contributing to the health of the individual. This should be the perspective for us, not to have the waste and to make it minimal. So the suggested solutions, first thing is we need to create the awareness. Without the awareness, creating a thought process, because if we are creating this thought, it's like we are imbibing a seed within every mind that we have to have the responsibility of not creating waste, but proper material generation. And when we are talking about the institutions and everything, we think that there are canteens where the food is being generated. After some consumption, people leave it. Instead of that, that food can be stored somewhere, can be provided as a food bank. That is also a thing. And we have to work towards the sustainable food production. And while consuming to the retail market also, instead of using the plastic, can we have it? Everyone, when they're as an individual responsibility, can we have your own bags or your containers itself, go and take it from that market? Instead of that, we have to think about the sustainable technologies. That is, rather than saying renewable technologies, I'm using the terminology sustainable technologies, because the technology development, its production for technology utilization, be it a solar panel or whatever it is, that the technology that is being utilized should be a sustainable one, which should not harm the nature or work towards the alternative materials. There should be a waste management techniques adopted. How we can have the recycling, how we can do this. There are many more suggestions and solutions which is being open to all. Thank you all for this opportunity. I don't want to make it a longer presentation because already it's the end of the day. Thank you. Thank you for this opportunity. Over to you, ma'am.
So much, Dr. Israt. I am so excited for everything that you presented today because it's so understandable and it shows where we are at, how we can contribute, how it can be made different by us. I loved also the fact that you put number one, awareness, as one of the solutions. Awareness is education. And that is what we do here at IIU. So I'm really, really excited about everything that you proposed. The fact that you explained every single one of the SDGs and how we can learn and how we can impact those is also a wealth of information. So thank you so much for waiting and for being here with us today. I also want to thank iGen for being our community partner again today, another Sunday with such amazing speakers. Thank you all.
Thank
Candy?
you.
Thank you.
Yeah, it was great listening to you, Dr. Ishrat. Especially, I want to just say one word, that minimalism is the way forward for a better and sustainable future. And it is now time for us to see how aligning sectoral policies with resource efficiency helps us achieve sustainability and responsible consumption and production. And to speak about that, we have with us Dr. Manoj Menon, who is the director of ICCOA, whose mission is to help build the competence of individuals and organization of South Asian region in organic culture. Mr. Menon is an agri expert, organic agri business expert. He is also associated with the Faculty of Management Studies of Delhi Universities as well. And welcome, sir. We look forward to your inputs.
Yeah. Yes. Good evening. Good late evening to all of you. Absolutely appreciate so many of you here late into the Sunday night and taking the time off from your families and friends, I'm sure. So I'll also try to make it very short. I am Manoj Menon. Thank you, Dr. Srividya Sukumar, for the invitation and other friends here from this group. I'll try to share the presentation. Let me see if it works. So, yeah, can you see this?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Please go ahead. Thank you.
Perfect. So, yes, thank you. Okay, so I will here try to speak on how we can align sectoral policies with resource efficiency objectives by taking an example of agriculture. And from agriculture, since I come from the International Competence Center for Organic Agriculture, in short, we call it ICOA, based out of Bangalore in India, but we are working in 28 states of the country. And in India's 28 countries are like a small subcontinent. It spans quite all over the place. So yes, now if you look at how India has been doing, I don't know why this is not moving. Yeah, okay. So you're able to see the slide moving, right? It's working. Okay.
Yes. Yes.
Perfect. So, whenever it comes to sustainability, for example, all resources across the world in all forms are finite. And they are also very easily wasted. As we have seen especially in the last 1 century post-industrial revolution, the resources are going ebbing away. And it is happening basically because of one great species on this planet called Homo sapiens. All of the species has more or less been contributing to the nature and globe, but our species has been doing exactly the opposite. So the same goes also for agriculture. Agriculture, as we all know, is almost the beginning of everything. The food is something that will never go out of fashion. I mean, there has been a world without fuel. There had been a world without industries, but there had never been a world without food. And food comes from agriculture. Till 1960s, before the industrial or the green revolution in agriculture, before that, most of the agriculture was sustainable. I mean, the entire agriculture was sustainable because there was no use of chemicals. We were not mining minerals, and the land, the soil, and the water were preserved in a way that the earth, which is, I think, now 150,000 years ever since Homo sapiens has inhabited the earth, it was doing okay. It's only after 1965, when chemical farming started, that agriculture started to become a culprit. That now agriculture is also adding to climate change and various other problems, also the lack of resources. When we come to any resource on this, any platform, land and soil is a very, very important resource. And we will all agree that how important land is, because it's on land that everything else is happening. And soil, when it comes to agriculture, is that component of land that's very important. Now, in agriculture, we are talking about sustainable agriculture, especially in the last few years. And within sustainable agriculture, we have different concepts. For example, organic agriculture is one. There's something also called natural farming, agroecological farming, biodynamic farming, etc. But these are concepts which are similar yet different, but they are quite similar. They are all sustainable. If you look at the United Nations FAO definition of sustainable agriculture, it says the management and conservation of natural resource base and the orientation of technological and institutional change in such a manner as to ensure attainment and continued satisfaction of human needs for the present and future generation. Not only for the present, but also for the future generation. That's how all sustainability aspects are taken off. Organic agriculture goes even one step forward and says that sustainability includes, I'll not read out the whole definition, but let us look at the keywords: holistic production management systems, ecosystem, including health of human, animal, and plants, biodiversity, biological cycles, soil biological activity, exactly what should happen on the land and soil. So this is how the keywords from organic agriculture points out. Natural farming is also very similar. If you look at how different resources pans out in agriculture, we have on one side soil health, soil, the beginning of everything. So it's very important to have eco-friendly, sustainable farming. And if you do that, especially organic farming, for example, the land and the soil becomes a soil carbon sink. So instead of releasing carbon into the atmosphere, a good sustainable agriculture will actually sequester carbon. And by sequestering carbon, we are actually mitigating climate change and reducing the CO2 exchange release. The other resource, of course, food and healthy foods. See, for all that we are doing, most important for our race, our species to survive is food. And that food must be safe, not just food, but the food that is safe, that makes us healthy. The sad part is chemical farming is taking food to a direction that the food is produced more, but it is not produced safe. It has the kind of residual toxicity, etc., which are making a large number of people unhealthy, triggering various diseases, toxicities, also even cancer. The third important resource for all of us, from whatever part of the world we are coming, are our farmer producers. If we cannot preserve their economic, social, and ecological survival of the farmers, there will not be any agriculture left, and therefore there will not also be any food left. How does organic and natural farming contribute to the climate, to the betterment of climate? Is because this kind of agriculture talks about biodiversity at each farm. diversification and mixed farming is the law, is the rule for this kind of agriculture. And interestingly, a lot of scientific data has come out of this in the last 25-30 years, which shows that the soil organic carbon can become 10 times in this kind of agriculture than a conventional practices. For example, for every 0.1% increase in soil organic carbon, and you improve soil organic carbon by adding manures and compost, etc., which happens in sustainable agriculture. And when you add 0.1%, you are adding 3,500 to 4,500 kgs of CO2 equivalent per acre. And that's wonderful. Another thing, another very important resource is water. Now, how does water use efficiency improve in sustainable and organic agriculture? Is, as you can see, for every 0.5% improve in soil organic carbon, 80,000 liters of water can be arrested and conserved at the farm. And with every 0.5% increase, you can see another 80,000 liters getting added, and therefore this lot of water per acre will be preserved, and the waste is avoided just by moving from a chemical farming system to an organic farming system. A quick shot on the organization that I come from and the kind of work we do. For example, till now we have worked with about 250,000 farmers across this country, of which 198,000 farmers we have converted fully from a conventional farming system to an organic farming system, and another 95,000 farmers we are still working on, because it takes 2 to 3 years to make them fully, 3 to 4 years to make them fully organic and move away from a chemical farming. And in this process, we have been able to convert 129,000 hectares of land into sustainable and organic farming systems. So organization, we work with a mission and a vision to take organic agriculture across the entire spectrum. I'll not read out the entire thing, but the basic mission and mandate by which we work is we train farmers, make them into groups so that they are operating in a farmer group. We work with certification agencies and standards people to put organic standards in place and certify them, and therefore they get better access to market. For example, in the organic agriculture, the biggest markets are the EU nations and the USA, but also many other countries, like for example, UAE is also emerging as a big market, Singapore, South Korea, China, a good part of the world is moving. We also work very closely with some very leading international organizations in collaboration. For example, the FIBL in Switzerland, the leading research institute for organic agriculture. IFOM is the umbrella body for organic agriculture in Germany. We also conduct a very major trade fair, an organic trade fair in India and in Germany. In India in September and in Germany in February. So friends who are interested to get into the sector and know more can always connect to us in any of these platforms. Let us look at how this organic agriculture sector across the world looks like today. In the last 18-19 years, the sector has grown quite tremendously. Today, 76 million hectares across the world are now certified organic. 3.7 million farmers are practicing organic farming, and the market size has touched $135 billion. 191 countries are doing not just organic farming, but certified organic farming with regulations and standards. 74 countries have regulations in place. So the countries are now becoming sustainability focused. Resource efficiency is becoming part of the policies. Now, when we talk about policies, 74 countries have a policy, but there is another 100, 120 countries still waiting to have a structured policy. And that is how this kind of group can, reach out to those countries. That is the context here. Global organic share of the total land is still only 1.6%. This is a journey just begun, and there's a long way to go. And PGS is another form of certification, etc. Now, when I look at my country, this is the kind of growth that India is seeing. When I started in this sector in 2005, around 19 years back, India had only 42,000 hectares of organic land. Today, India has 53 million hectares of 5.3 million hectares of organic land. And there is another organic system called the participatory guarantee system. This is something that the farmers themselves do. That has also reached around 9.25 lakh hectares in that kind of an organic farming. Now let me switch quickly for the next 3 to 4 minutes on another very important resource efficiency parameter that can help agriculture and our food become more sustainable, is this food called millets. I do not know how many of you are in touch with this thing or are aware of this thing. This year, 2023, incidentally, is also the International Year of Millets, as announced by the United Nations. Millets are smart foods. Why do we call them smart food? Because these foods are good for the farmers, good for the planet, and good for you. That is good for us. Because this is a crop that is grown with very less water. Actually, 1/10 of the water that is required to grow paddy. And also it requires very minimal use of fertilizers and chemicals. In organic farming, we do not use at all. But even if a millet is grown non-organically by general farmers, conventional farmers, there also the use of pesticides and chemicals are minimal. They grow in very, very subsistence soil, and these foods are very healthy. You can see across the world, millets are grown and consumed. For example, in the country India, we have 9 different kinds of millets: foxtail millet, finger millets, barnyard millets. All these millet crops are substantially nutritious. They are very good for people with diabetics or such kind of issues, because they are called low glycemic index foods, and it has no gluten. So this is also something that's just to show us a few pictures of how millets look like. Many of you from different parts of the world would be aware of sorghum, pearl millet, finger millet, foxtail millet, little millet, kodo millet. And these kinds of millets, look at this chart before closing. If you look at how these millets are so much more nutritious, more nutritious, you can see, for example, if you take the example of finger millet and look at calcium, the calcium present in this one crop is 20 times more than wheat or paddy or any other crop. At least 10 times more calcium than wheat and 20 times more than paddy. Similarly, if you look at each different thing, like barnyard millet, very high in crude fiber, foxtail millet, very high on proteins and fats. So this kind of a range of food is available, which can save the very, very important and crucial resources of soil, water, and a lot of ailments and diseases that human beings are slowly becoming prone to. For example, as I was mentioning, with low glycemic index of these crops, and the way this is digested, etc., it gives a perfect food for young people as well as old people, and perhaps most of us, because food becoming such an important part of health, and various other problems and ailments are also traced back to food. So this gives an opportunity. So if we combine organic foods and millets together, we have with us an option, a scope that we can take to different countries and try to promote these in the policies, in the roadmaps, and make this world a little more better place to live. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you so much. What an interesting presentation. Thank you for the statistics. It really opens our eyes to what we can actually do and what we can start really looking forward to. Who would have thought that millet is not only a superfood, it's a smart food. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. I am taking some information.
Nice for
yes,
you.
thank you so much. We also want to thank Dr. Myla for her patience and for her flexibility today. I have to say that this is all of our efforts, and it's been a wonderful G20, but I know that we're a little bit behind. So thank you again, Dr. Myla. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Mr. Manoj Kumar Menon. That was a wonderful presentation. Really, it just compared the stats across the globe. It was a fabulous piece, an outstanding one. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thanks for your time, and we really appreciate it. Thank you.
My pleasure.
Yeah. So thank you once again, Dr. Menon. Your presentation was amazing, as told by everyone. I also voice it here. And now we move on to talk about how enhanced data and analysis helps us in achieving SDG. Data is very important because it empowers many of the decision makers to make an empowered and sane decision. So for that, we have with us Dr. Maila, who has been very, very patient and has given her time and is also waiting for her turn. Thank you so much. And she's an accomplished academic and associate professor at De La Salle University, Department of Sociology and Behavioral Sciences. She also holds a doctorate in sociology from the same university. She's a distinguished researcher and educator, and she has made significant contributions to e-learning, youth and family studies, and social research methodology. Dr. Maila's expertise extends internationally, and her accolades include awards from International Organization of Educators and Research. And she has collaborations on various projects with UNICEF, TESDA, and WHO. She holds leadership roles in various professional associations. So we look forward to your inputs, Dr. Maila. Digital Dice is always yours now. You have all the time now. We hear all.
Okay. Okay. So good day, everyone. I'm the last, okay, but I'm happy, okay, to be with you guys. Okay, so to begin with, okay, I would like to express my gratitude, okay, to the organizers for inviting me to be one of the resource speakers, okay, for this event. Thank you also, okay, for being one, okay, of the invited resource persons in this platform, okay, to share about how we could help, okay, in terms of proposing more actions, okay, for a more sustainable future for all of us. Okay, so again, I am Dr. Myla Arcinas, okay, from the Philippines, and my talk will zero in on strengthening policy development and evaluation through data analytics. So I believe the topic is very important because the efficient and sustainable use of natural resources should be guided by data-driven policy development and evaluation. Why? Because this is the key to preserving our planet's ecological balance. This is crucial to essential resource management, okay, and this could help mitigate the devastating impact of resource depletion and environmental degradation. Let me share my slide. It seems like.
Dr. Myla, welcome.
Hi, Dr. Nada. Oops.
Hi, so happy to have you here today. Great.
Yes.
We lost you. Okay, try again.
Yes, for a while.
Dr. Myla, it is so late on Philippines now.
Yes.
1 at morning. And Dr. Myla is with us 1 at morning. Dr. Myla, thank you.
Yes, can you see my screen? Is it working?
But not a full screen yet. Please try.
Wait for a while. Let me stop share. Having problem with it now.
Dr. Myla, if you can, try again. So if you can't, you can go slide by slide. So
no
problem, no problem.
Oh.
Okay. Great, Dr. Myla, great. Try to move the slide. Try to move
Yeah.
Try to move so we will see. Oh, lost
Not
the
moving. So yeah.
Dr. Myla, do you want me
And
to
my
share
connection is having problem.
the presentation? Do you want me to share your presentation?
I'll try it again, please.
Okay, okay.
Okay, can you see it?
Not yet, not yet. It's not coming yet.
Oh.
I think, okay, it's coming.
It's
Okay.
working now?
Yes, but okay, try to change a slide.
Okay.
Try to change the first. Great, Dr. Myla.
Is it working
great.
now?
Yes, it is working
Okay,
now. Great.
thank you.
Great.
Okay, so let me move now. Can you see the screen?
Yes.
Sustainable cities. Okay, so let me continue my talk. Okay, so in this slide, okay, you are seeing the 2022 top 20 sustainable cities from the Arcadis Sustainable Cities Index. In this index, okay, you would see that it's the result of the 100 cities rank, okay, according to 51 metrics across 26 indicator teams, okay, and from this rank according to 3 important pillars of sustainability. So we have planet, people, and profit. On top of this, okay, you will see on the #1 spot, okay, the city of Oslo of Norway, followed by Stockholm City of Sweden on the 2nd spot, and Tokyo City of Japan on the 3rd position. If you are to examine, okay, this result, okay, you would see that 13 of the cities are actually from Europe, 5 from the United States, 1 from Canada, and 1 from Asia. So to be part of this top 20 sustainable cities in the world, of course, would not be easy. It needs a lot of resources and collaboration of various stakeholders to work together to implement data-wise-based policies. Okay, so for policies to be effective and of great impact, okay, to promote and achieve sustainable future, it is proposed that we should have a data-wise based policies. Data-wise stands for data-driven analysis and transparent action for wise evidence-based policies. Using this, we would be able to drive more efforts, okay, to more data-driven analysis to inform transparent actions in the creation of evidence-based policies. It basically underscores, okay, the idea that well-informed policies are rooted from good data and good analysis, and of course, the commitment to transparency. Oslo and Japan made it to the top 3 because of their effort to embrace data-wise based policies. In this slide, okay, you will see the effort, okay, of Norway, okay, to develop a policy, okay, that would help sustain a good future, okay, for their citizens. So Oslo is actually the #1 sustainable city in the world, and Norway is known for its Norwegian strategy for a circular economy. So a while ago, okay, it was discussed and of course presented to us. So Norway's strategy focuses on transforming their country into a circular economy powerhouse. So the policy is grounded in the data-driven analysis of resource consumption, waste generation, and environmental impact. So by setting clear goals and targets supported by solid data, Norway has be able to make it to be at the top. So with this, Norway is basically striving, okay, to reduce its ecological footprints and enhance resource efficiency using the 3 Rs. Of course, as mentioned a while ago, reduce, reuse, and recycle. Japan, okay, is actually in the top 3 with Tokyo in its position. So this relies heavily, okay, on Japan's basic law on establishing a sound material cycle society, which is very much known globally. So Japan has been a pioneer in resource efficiency policies. Their basic law on establishing a sound material cycle society focuses on promoting the 3 R's: reduce, reuse, and recycle. And with this, sustain a waste management practices that are very much efficient. So the law is informed by extensive data on waste generation, recycling rates, and material flows, enabling policymakers to set ambitious targets and evaluate progress. In the data presented to you, as mentioned, there are 13 countries represented from Europe. So thanks to the European Union Circular Economy Action Plan for making them at the top 20. So this aims to decouple economic growth from resource use and environmental degradation. This plan actually sets forth a comprehensive strategy for promoting the efficient use of resources through measures such as eco-design, waste prevention, and extended producer responsibility. So the policy is informed by extensive data on resource consumption, waste generation, and environmental impact, facilitating evidence-based decision making. At the heart of this, okay, you will see that we could clearly deduce that the heart, okay, of progressive policy formulation and impactful decision making is very, very important, imperative to strengthening policy development and evaluation through better data analytics. Doing this, however, is not easy. Okay, there could be many challenges, but the need to push for data-wise based policy is imperative for a sustainable future. These are some action points, okay, to promote sustainable future for everyone. So let me just raise some important points, okay, drawn from some studies, okay, that would like to ensure that their policies in support of sustainable future are actually data-driven. So first is to enhance data collection and quality. So this stresses the need to establish standardized data collection processes across sectors and jurisdictions. So the need to invest in technologies for real-time data tracking and reporting is crucial. And lastly, okay, the need, okay, to ensure that data accuracy, consistency, and transparency through quality control measures are attained. Second, strengthening data infrastructure. So this highlights the need to develop centralized databases or platforms for easy access to relevant data. The need to invest in data storage and management systems that can handle large volumes of information. We are not just talking of one country, we are talking of many countries, not just one region, but many regions or global data. And of course, implement data sharing agreements, okay, between relevant stakeholders while respecting privacy and security concerns. Third, okay, build data literacy and capacity. So it is needed that training programs for a more sustainable future should be provided to policymakers, to analysts, and stakeholders on data interpretation and analysis. This is to foster collaboration between data scientists, researchers, and policymakers to bridge the gap between technical expertise and policy formulation. Fourth, integrate data in decision making. There is the need to incorporate data analysis as a core component of policy development processes. There is also the need to mandate the use of data-backed insights in policy proposals and evaluations. And with this, to establish interdisciplinary teams that include data experts and policymakers to ensure comprehensive analysis. And then set clear objectives and metrics. This means that we need to define specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound goals for policies. So with this, we need to develop outcome-based matrix, okay, to assess policy effectiveness and impact on resource use and sustainability. And 6, implement evidence-based policy trials. So we need to conduct some pilot programs to test the feasibility and impact of new policies before full-scale implementation would be done. So we need to collect data during trial periods to assess policy performance and make informed adjustments. 7th, okay, regularly evaluate and update policy. So we need to establish scheduled review processes to ensure, okay, that policies remain aligned, okay, with changing circumstances and objectives. With this, we could continuously monitor the data, particularly looking into the trends and conduct evaluation to measure policy success and identify areas for improvement. And 8, encourage stakeholder engagement. We should be able to promote involvement of relevant stakeholders, including communities, industries, and NGOs in data collection and analysis efforts. With this, we could seek feedback, meaningful feedback from stakeholders to ensure policies are actually addressed, focusing on the real-world needs and concerns of our people. And then 9, use predictive analysis for future planning. So we have to make use of the leverage of predictive modeling to anticipate future trends in resource consumption and environmental impacts. With this, we could develop policies that are more proactive, addressing potential challenges based on these predictions. And then lastly, we should be able to communicate our findings effectively. We need to translate complex data analysis into accessible formats for policymakers and the public to appreciate them, and to use good data visualization, effective data visualization tools to convey the insights and outcomes that are good, okay, and more persuasive, okay, for the people to work together, collaborate, okay, for a more sustainable future. To end my talk, okay, let me share the words of William Edwards Deming, an American statistician professor known for his significant contributions in the field of quality management principles and practices. Deming said, "In God we trust. All others bring data." These words of Deming emphasizes the significance of data as the foundation for making informed decisions, including policy development and evaluation. And this is supported by Geoffrey Moore, an American author, speaker, and consultant in the work of technology, marketing, and innovation. Moore said, "Without big data, we are blind and deaf in the middle of a freeway." So he wrote this to reinforce the essential role of data in understanding the environment and making strategic policy choices. So again, okay, I am Dr. Myla Arcinas from the Philippines, okay, and let us work together, okay, to strengthen policy development and evaluation through data analytics. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Myla. I have to say that in the US, we say that data is king, and you have just proven how important and what a big player it is in any successful plan. So I think that everything that you explained today really gives us a very determined and most importantly, clear picture of how collecting data correctly is going to help us paint a better picture for the future. Thank you so much. And really thank you again for being so flexible with your time. We are so grateful that we were able to end with this because it just gives us a bigger, broader picture of everything. I want to commend and I want to thank His Royal Excellency Dr. Mohammed Syed Al-Kindi for staying with us throughout the entire program. We know how busy you are and how occupied you are, and every single one of our speakers, but we really want to thank you today for staying the entire time with us, being our chief guest. So thank you again. I think that yeah, go ahead. I think he's,
yeah,
I don't know.
His
Go ahead.
Excellency, His Excellency, sir. Would you like to share a few words with us, please? Thank you. Thank you, sir. And it is the greatest, we are so surprised to see you present here throughout the session, and it has been a great inspiration for us. And kindly share your inputs, please. Thank you. We will be most delighted to hear it from you. Thank you.
Speakers, which is they have gave all the ideas, which is a very great thing that I hear from different speakers, which is in different views, in different kind, in the agriculture, in the food section, on all kind of things. That was a great thinking of this during this meeting that you have held and taking part for which is, I see it is the longest timing that take this this meeting, but it is a very great, and I appreciate all the speaker and what they have said and what they have talked and what they have put in as an input in this conference and this meeting, which is a great, which is make the conference a very, very a great one, and with a good outcome from all what all of them what being said from the different area. It doesn't matter what it is, but it is a great value and feed in, and let the people all around who have followed this meeting or also later on who could read about it, they have put forward a great speeches, a great input into the subject that they have talked about. And I am happy about being participating in this meeting and wish you all the best. And you have done, you and the people with you and all the people behind this conference have done a great job on bringing it out with a great face of this meeting. It's a great job done. Thank you, and I wish you all the best.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. So congratulations. Our heartiest congratulations to all the speakers who have joined us today.
Thank you.
Thank you all for this opportunity. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. So back to Dr. Virginia. Yes, Dr. Virginia, would you like to share something?
I want to say that after listening to everybody, and although this is a very important message, I have to say that RE, or renewable energy, is growing. You know, again and again, we saw that although we still have a lot to go, we're moving towards the right direction. And I think that ends our program with some hope, right? Some very definite hope and some definite key things that we can all do, that we can all do to really get to where we want to go. We know that we need everybody, every single person. And I think with every single one of the speakers, we were able to get some tangible solutions where we can all participate. And I think that is the key to what we're doing today. It's not just part of the government or education, it's everybody's effort. So thank you so much for everything that you have brought to us today and all the solutions that you have brought to us.
Thank you. Thank you. Ms. Sandy, would you like to say something?
I would like to just say one thing. All the speakers were great, and thank you for all the time. Thank you, His Excellency, for staying on. I just need to add this one thing. I realized throughout, after everybody spoken, the 3 R's are not just a necessity, or it's not just a choice, but it is a responsibility, as Virginia said. And as Dr. Ishrat said, which I really loved, there is no planet B or plan B. We have only one Earth, and we're all part of it, and we must save it and hand it over to the future generations in a more beautiful and greener way. So shall we move ahead in presenting
Dr.
your
Nader's
video, Dr.
inputs,
Vidya?
please. Dr. Nada's inputs, please. Dr. Nada.
Yes,
Yes,
yes, I hear you.
Yes,
I hear
yes,
you.
yes.
Mhm. Yes, I hear you. So what to say today, an amazing session, a great Sunday, great G20, amazing eminent guest speakers, amazing all, amazing Dr. Srividya, Virginia, all who were today with us on this great IIU stage. Very important topic today, what we have about this energy. We know I'm really happy that we have our eminent speakers who are really experts in this energy resources for sustainability, employability, talking about sustainable use of natural resources with this 3RS, reviews, reuse. We have great Dr. Yelena, great, she brings us her doctorate today presenting. So really, really wonderful. Next Sunday, we have another topic. We will also have
Sandy.
great. Sandy, you will present it. I want to thanks to our great founder for giving us the opportunity, to giving us the great IIU stage. Without him, there will not be the sessions. So after India, there are big new plans in IIU. IIU is moving forward every day, bigger and bigger. So Sandy, please continue.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Nada. Dr. Vidya, do I go ahead and share the planner now?
Yes, please.
Okay.
So this is about the forthcoming sessions we're going to have for the following Sundays. Ms. Sandy, should I help you to share?
Yes, I think you should.
Yes.
It's not working at my end.
Okay. Yeah, fine. Yes, Ms. Sandy.
Yes, so on the beginning of July, we began with our education 360, and we talked about inclusive and lifelong education opportunities for all. And then moving on to 16th July, we talked about women empowerment and youth empowerment. We contributed our inputs, like how we can bring in sustainability from these two powerful forces. On 23rd July, we spoke about digitization and innovation and the science stream, the vocation and employability, and with the focus on the next production revolution. On 30th of July, it was a day of entrepreneurship and MSME, and our presidency was modernize and strengthen the industrial units to make them globally competent. Today, the 6th of August, we have brainstormed all the ideas of sustainability of energy sources and resources with our presidency, with efficient and sustainable use of natural resources with 3 Rs and RE dialogue. Next week, we will talk about health as wealth, agriculture and food security with a global view of GVC patterns and opportunities and the role of policy. On 20th of August, inclusion of financial architecture and international growth, with our presidency being accelerated, inclusive and resilient growth. On 27th of August will be a day where we talk about international taxation, trade and investment and exports and imports. And our presidency will be to reform, reshape and restructure and reconstitute the international tax architecture. On 3rd of September, our highlight will be heritage, culture and tourism. On 10th of September, we will look forward to see if 2030 agenda, how far we've progressed and the sustainable development. And our presidency will be accelerating progress towards the SDG for an ambitious G20 action plan. On 17th, we will conclude with valedictory function and have a discussion on the paper submission and patent submission. So we're looking forward week after week, every Sunday, to go ahead and discuss the topics on our agenda.
Sandeep. So coincidentally, this year 2023 is called as the Year of Sustainability in the UAE. So I'm so happy to be here in the part of the session, and hope that's why we had the opportunity of interacting or getting his consent from His Excellency, and he had consented to be a chief guest of the program. And that was a fabulous presentation. Big congratulations to all the speakers. I can't pick and choose which one was the best and which one was the good one. Each and every presentation talked about different aspects and disciplines of sustainability. And when it talks about the 3 R's, 3 R's is a roadmap towards sustainability. And each presenter, each speaker on this dais had really presented so very well the roadmap towards the sustainability. On that note, if everybody would allow, I have got a very small video from UAE, which has transformed the a desert into a farmland. With the permission from Dr. Nada, may I share the screen with Dr. Nada? Am I allowed to share the screen, Dr. Nada? No, I'm not allowed, I think. She's not answering. Yeah, I'll go ahead. Yeah, sure. Thank you. Thank you. On that note, I would like to share this with everyone to show that how desert can be transformed into a farmland. And sustainability is all about innovation as such, and everybody will accept with me, I think. So the screen share is loading. Hope you're able to see my video.
Not yet.
Not yet?
It's just loading. It's loading.
It's loading, yeah.
Yeah, now we can.
Now you can, okay, yeah. So. I'm sorry, I need to play here. Yes. Oh. No. Where did it go?
It's there in the first on your recent media.
Yes. It's not opening here. Is it opening? Yeah. So I should be able.
We are at the wheat farm in Sharjah, which is preparing to welcome its first harvest. What used to be a desert in Maleha has transformed into a oasis within months. As you can see, the farm is huge. It covers 400 hectares, which is about the size of 500 football pitches. The first phase of the wheat project was launched in November when Sheikh Dr. Sultan bin Muhammad Al Qasimi, the ruler of Sharjah, spread seeds on the soil. The farm is expected to produce up to 1,700 tons of wheat in March.
We are expecting the harvesting date to be near 15 to 20 March. The wheat will be going to the local market here in Sharjah and UAE. We are not adding chemicals and additives here. We are expecting that the products will be available in market during maybe next May or June.
The fields are irrigated using this water reservoir. In a day, up to 60,000 cubic meters are pumped out the fields using 6 large suction pumps. The project uses these mechanized sprinkler systems, which can be moved using motors. 3 state-of-the-art technologies help to monitor weather and soil conditions. First, sensors are used to measure the quantity of water in the soil to avoid water wastage. Secondly, this on-site weather station predicts temperatures, wind speed, and humidity conditions for the next 48 hours. If rain is forecast, the farm cuts down on irrigation to save water. And third, satellite technology is used to monitor the fields and check the state of crops. From seeding to irrigation to harvest, the entire process is automated and mechanized, thereby reducing the dependence on manpower. Currently, the farm operates with the help of just 2 engineers and 6 to 7 workers.
We face a lot of challenges because most of the elements that's available here, from actually seeds, from equipment, from agriculture, irrigation systems, it wasn't available in the country. Even the manpower, even the expertise. So in 3 months, actually, it was a challenging project. Alhamdulillah, we finished it.
This is just the first phase of the farm. It will be followed by other phases to reach a total area of 1,900 hectares by 2025. There's also a small experimental farm on site where about 30 varieties of wheat from different countries are grown. The crops are studied, monitored, and measured every day by experts. The experiments helped in selecting the best variety of wheat for the project. The UAE imports about 1.7 million tons of wheat. The crops production is an agricultural milestone as the country works on increasing food security amid rising concerns over climate change.
Thank you. So that was the video, and how do I stop?
So, Dr. Srividya, I think that we are at the end of the session. Almost 4 hours we are here. So, great.
I know that, Dr. Nada, I know that. I'm just looking for it to stop sharing. Can you help me stop sharing?
Yeah. I don't see it anymore. Don't worry.
So, beautiful girls, and beautiful doctor, I want a big smile. I want a beautiful photo. Yelena, please open your light. You are in the darkness.
Everyone,
you need to be beautiful. Please light.
Everyone, please smile. Say cheese.
Cheese.
Okay. Okay, great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Great.
Thank you for this amazing evening. Thank you so much, everyone. It was a brilliant team effort, and it was a fabulous day, really. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you, His Excellency.
Absolute pleasure.
Such an inspiration for us. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. And we should thank IIU and Dr. Piyush Pandit for being such a supportive person and for giving us this platform to share our views and to share our inputs. And without him, I think, though we don't get to see him in not even one of the sessions, but still.
Dr. Srividya, he is always with us.
He's always
with us.
you.
He see you now. You don't need to see him.
I know.
He's watching you, don't care.
There in every one of us. I know that. I know that.
Okay. Okay. Till our next session, stay safe, stay healthy, and let us join at Sunday on the next G20, and let us be together with our great new esteemed guest speakers and speakers from all around the world. Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Srividya. Thank you, Sandy. Thank you, Virginia. Thank you, Dr. Yelena. Thank you all.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you so
The
much.
best regards. The best regards.
Thank you, Sandy.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. До видения, draga Nado.
Doviđenja.
Neće nas Soluje valjda uhvatiti mac opet. Viš da je mrak od nas totalno.
Si mi u mraku, mračna, bojim se za tebe. Može, ajde, čao, Bobo.
Ćao ljubavi, ljubim te,
Bog.
čao ljubavi.
Bog.
Mrak napolju da znaš. Ćao ljubavi.